Hello, everyone, and welcome to the American Rugby Mahjong League. And you see, we're jumping right in here. We have a B2 match with Leon, Sam, Tommy, and Zach. So before we get into all that stuff, how you doing, Max?
Good. How's your night been, Korak?
Home.
Kind of awkward. I got to take the whole week off before our Christmas mess starts, but
Oh,
everything
nice.
else is going fine. Good day to take a bunch of Mahjong in, see how things are going here.
Yep.
So we have
Looks like
Sam here, who is Lyra. On the right, that is Termex, who is Zach. Across the way is Tommy, who is JY Tommy. And on the left, that is Leon, who is TWMN0610.
yep. And right away we noticed that Leon and Sam have both had quite the good run of things, both within 5 points of being in overall first place in B2. And with
Yeah, looking
the
at very good promotion.
yeah, and with the geez, with the announcement that Edwin made earlier this week about the people taking hiatuses, a lot of promotion slots have actually opened up. So even down the list, Tommy and Zach have a reasonable shot at finding their way up if they can have a good session here tonight.
Now, I believe the rules are a little different for those promotion slots if you're plus minus zero, because that will keep the people in the division above first, so they'll have one less demotion instead.
Yes. However, it is still very doable over 8 games for Zach. It definitely would require some some high rolling, some good luck, but definitely possible at the very least. Leaves something to play for at the end of the season besides just avoiding demotion.
Yeah, the big thing is get above that plus minus zero, and then you don't have to. Then you have a hope, but of course, if you punch your ticket yourself, then you don't have to worry about anyone else. We have a tempai here for Lyra, as Sam has just the double east waiting on the seven, so there is only one left in the wall, though.
Yep. Uses the Kanchan over the Shabo and sees the 6-0 immediately come out from Tommy across the way. But of course, it's always hard to know whether or not that tile would have actually come out if you hadn't cut it yourself. Now, Tenpai on the left as well. Going to be a Dama Pinfu Nomi. And
4e10 though, so that's why it's you take the Dama. Normally, I just of course just hate Dama, but I can at least understand this one.
yeah, especially when you see 6 of your weights as well. Not the
Boom.
best looking Dama. And there's going to be the 7 so coming out.
Yeah, so you end up saving 1,000 with the Dama, and we do see a win here of 2,900 as Dealer gets the double east, and Sam will be dealer again here. Starts with a whole bunch of pairs. You at least keep Cheetoy in the back of your mind, especially because the rest of these shapes aren't ideal. I'm not seeing any real path to value, but if you draw an 8 mon or 8 pin, then you can think just more conventional pin fu route. On the
Yeah,
right,
you just
speaking
start the
of
hand, play it
pairs,
normal.
so what do you think about Honroto? Do you just sell out now, especially with 3 Dora?
I
I mean, it's hard
think
to get a hand that's more set up for it.
Honroto might be a little bit too much for me here because I really never want to cut that 6-8 so Kanchan. I just want to
Oh,
pull in
I'd
the East and
insta
take.
pull in that one pin and just gone for it.
Oh, I agree, but I'm really just okay with the Adozuke more than I am aiming for Honroto.
All right. Well, across the way, it is already Ishan 10. Won't likely be able to get the Itsu unless there's some shifting done. But already Ishan 10 for Richi Tanya. Possible pin fu if you pull in that 6 mon first.
Yeah,
And on the
really wants to
left,
find that
that
six
looks
mon.
much more
Yeets.
like an Itsu hand. Oh, there's your Tempai. It is Richi Tanya waiting on 6 mon. And unfortunately, there is one that is very loose there on the left.
Yep, we'll see whether or not that comes out. There's not a whole lot of information.
Sumo.
Or you can
Well,
just be
just
Tatsumo.
Sumo. Richi Apatsu Sumo Tanyao. That is already a Mongon. One aura wouldn't have mattered anyway. Doesn't get it, but with that, Tommy jumps out into first place. And
Nice
Sam,
quick
who had
start for
won the
Tommy, getting
quick
his points
hand
back.
30, had won that quick 200 hand earlier, ends up having to pay it back. But now we have East 2 as Zach is dealer, and all sorts of options with a hand like this. This is one where I kind of like floating the Honitsu for a while.
Yeah, you can definitely float the Honitsu to some extent, but at the same time, I'm really kind of okay
Home.
if I'm Zach with just pawning the Hatsu, just playing efficiently.
Yeah, I really like cutting the
Trying to
2
find a
pin
dealer
there.
repeat.
I think that really tells me a lot about how it's being played. You still keep your options open. It's looking less and less likely, but it's not gone. And even if you draw the 1, do you really want that 1-2 pinch on here?
No, not particularly. Not at all.
Well, on the right, we have a call for what's likely to be an Itsu Dora type hand. It's gonna be hard to pull it all together. Well, just draw the
Yep,
7.
just
That makes
draw
it a
what you
lot
want.
better.
Though that
I
and that
assume you
4
just
pin will
cut the
come out from Zach in
7 8
front of us.
mon.
Yeah.
And there it goes across
Yeah,
the
that makes
way.
the most
Looks
sense. You
like a
can't cut the other
Ricci
block as
Dora.
Dora. Everything else is needed for the Itsu.
Right, and there on the left we have the north pair
See.
that is the Yakuhai, so I figure that's probably going to be a call and go type hand.
Oh,
Ooh,
and
now we
there's
have
the Tempai.
Tempai on the right. This is a fun way where you have the 4-7, but the 7 doesn't help you, and two
Yeah,
of
and
the
the 7
4s are
pin
pretty locked
is
up in hands at this point.
the 7 pin is somewhat likely to be drawn, just the fact that we see 3 of them all still on the wall. However, both the 4 and the 7 pin would come out from Zach with no issue. And there's one of those 7 pin drawn up by Leon. Zach trying to race this hand is a step behind, but is in a callable Ishanten himself. Just trying to keep his deal and see if he can get anything going for himself. Really hurts losing that Dora 3 hand last hand. But just
Now you do
couldn't
see
really do a
Tommy
whole lot
draw
about the
another
first row.
Dora, it
Cuts him
just
off.
gets rid of it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real way to incorporate it unless you really want to greed with like 4-6-0 cut.
And when dealer's sitting there with 2 calls, I'm definitely not one to mess around.
Alrighty, Zach cuts the 7-0 here, potentially trying to get ahead of a danger situation. But it definitely does weaken his Ishanten a little bit.
Yeah, with one of those 9 so out, it's going to be a lot harder to call than it may seem. Oh, speaking of calls, and there's going to be one, and on the left we are
Yeah.
Tempai, but this is
He
also going to be
did.
Tempai, but it's going to deal into that
Yeah.
hand on the left. That
That
will
7-0
be
did
North
open the
Dora.
5-mon path. However, it's now going to deal in, unfortunately. Only 2,000, but when you're kind of sitting in the demotion range, really do not want to see your deal taken away like that once you hit Tempai.
Oh, we move to East 3. Dealer has couple pairs, really not much. Just going to be a standard Tinfu hand. But with Adora, you don't need too much. Maybe some shifting later and get to Tanya if you cut that North pair. But lots of options here. On the right, Ricci, maybe Pinfu. Not much value, though. Probably too
Yeah,
far away
not
from
a
the
whole
Sanshiko at
lot.
that point. Across the way, ugh. I mean, I like the show shape, but I hate every other tile in that hand.
Yeah, I think you just kind of hold out for the Honitsu as well and hedge the Chitoy / Suanko outside chance.
Yeah, I think I would cut the 1 pin there instead, but that's fine to cut the Haku, especially one
Yeah,
already having been cut.
or even the 9 pin. It really just kind of depends on what you want to do, though.
Yeah.
Because the 1
On
pin
the left, ooh,
you
now
could
your
read is
question:
available.
how greedy do you think about the Chinitsu?
I think with a Dora in hand and acceptance for another one, it's a little bit difficult to do.
That's exactly how I had treated it. If there weren't a Dora, for me, that's an instant pwn. As it
I
is, I'm
agree.
fine with the pass.
Yeah, especially because you can get a decent enough shape and value out of the Pinzu shape already. You can even get Itsu in some worlds. Not like very
See.
likely, but it's possible.
Oh,
Looks
I
like
don't
that
really
might
like
be what
the
we're
1
doing.
call. Yeah, I think you're going to do that. You call the 9 pin to begin with, because you're going to be a very awkward Itsu, and your question is going to be, where's your pair if you want to go Itsu?
Yeah, the issue there would be the 9 pin is harder for you to progress around. However, the 2-3 pin was probably the strongest non-completed shape in the hand. So you didn't really need to take that call. Because honestly, you're gonna fill that shape eventually more times than not.
Of course, there's also the possibility of tilt when you cut the 2 mon, 1 mon, and then your 3 mon.
Yeah, it
That's for your
happens.
first 4 draws.
It'd be that way sometimes. We've got Ishanten on our right and across the way for San Anko.
Ooh, do you go for the? Okay, we see the sell up for Cheetoy on the right.
I think I like the Chitoy shift here for Leon because really it's the only way this hand's gonna have any sort of value, and it's a little bit too late to try to play this hand towards any sort of Anko-based shape. Well, maybe not.
Kind of like cutting the 3 mon specifically for that reason, but you can't know that necessarily. Could have also gone for the San Anko if you just want to cut the 1 mon, but that feels a little sad.
Yeah. Unfortunate backfire, but the
Oh wait,
Chitoy
no, yeah.
Ishanten is hard
Now I
to.
look at it, no, I like the 1 mon a lot more because I missed the. There are 2 of them dead already. In that case, like playing for the Sun Anko feels pretty good, honestly. You could always draw the 6 mon and turn that into a run that uses Dora as well.
That's fair. The Chitoy Ishanten is also just kind of hard to pass up when you don't really see many pass for the hand either way.
Yeah, but that has one fundamental problem. It uses Cheetoy.
Hey, Cheeto is pretty nice in Akanashi, if I'm being honest. No, this one so looks so good to be able to draw, and it's just unfortunately all dead in Sam's hand. Yeah, that 3-mon is definitely the hard commit for Leon to Cheetoy. Oh, this Shinizu might actually get there. It's taken a
But if you
bit,
would
but
have
it is
called that
Ishanten.
9-pin earlier, oh, it should be a beautiful Intotsu.
Yeah, but you know, draws become so different.
Oh yeah,
It just becomes a damaging thought experiment. Sam has
isn't that
been
what Mashog
Sumagiri
is in
for a
general?
row. Yeah. Sam's been Sumagiri for a row from the Ishanten. Just looking for the Sananko. Sure, might be thinking that pins are a little bit sus, so we might not even see the 4-pin come out if he does happen to draw a Tenpai. Speaking of
He has a bunch of
Tenpai,
ups with that
not
2-mon draw.
quite.
Okay, locks in the perfect Ishanten here for Tanyodora 2, or even potentially Ricci Pinfu Tanyodora 2.
And can pawn his way to Tenpai while incorporating the Dora or even keeping it in his weight. It's just so late that it's really hard to do anything besides
Oh,
get
there's
Tenpai.
our
Speaking of
Cheetoy.
Tenpai, alright.
Damas doesn't
Seems
really want to throw that 5-pin. Feels very scared of it. Is actually correct that would
yeah.
get to
Oh,
Tenpai,
and
and
there's
now
the
it would deal
Tenpai.
in to the Chinitsu.
I believe that's only 7-pin?
Let's see. Oh, you're right. It is just a
Sumo.
7 weight.
Oh my
Well, just
gosh.
sumo. Okay, well, it doesn't matter if you just draw it. Huge
Wow.
win there
That
for
hand went on
Zach.
a trip.
Yeah, everyone was just sitting there stuck in each other to hell and hoping to get that one tile, and that's where it was.
He drew those 7 and 8-pin back to back too. That's the open Ipatsumo.
I mean, it's a Mongon with a hand that felt a long way away from the start, just eventually came together, so you take it. Well, you have
At best,
Leon's
that
here.
felt like a Ricci Pinfu Dora hand at the start, but the greed
Yeah.
ended up paying off.
Hey, Mongon is Mongon. Here we have dealer who is Leon with kind of looks like a Pinfu hand, but you have so many extra honors, it's hard to wait. When you start with that head, you almost think Kokushi, but now you have two
Yeah.
Rhiannon runs,
I
so
didn't
there's at least
happen
something
to see
here.
what the first draws were, but it would be 8 uniques with no pair. Now it'd be 8 uniques with a pair. It's not like the most likely thing, but honestly,
No.
it's something that I like hedging in cases like this, just because the rest of the hand is so bad.
Better hand, though, on the right. Already, Rian Shunten could turn this into a Sanjiku with the 5-6-7 or 6-7-8.
Yeah,
And
definitely
Tanya, if you cut
possible.
that north pair,
Tanya probably the
cross.
way they're gonna look to play it.
Yeah, I feel you always go for Tanya down like this. You're just trying to figure out some extra value, and it's so hard with those shapes.
Declines the 4th pair, is interested in just playing a normal hand.
Across the way, looks like I want to say Pinfu hand, but it's really not. That's one where you're
Yeah,
looking at it going, is there a possibility of a 9 Sanjiku Doko?
that's immediately what I thought of when I saw that hand, especially if you can draw a 9-pin. However, the hand on our left is probably the scariest hand at the table.
Well, when you
Looks
have 2 Dora, it'll do that. Already
two
Ishan
Dora
10
completed
for
shapes.
Ricci Dora 2.
The Ricci, almost no matter what it is not going to be the strongest weight. However, with 2 Dora in hand, especially South Dora, you really can't complain, and you just kind of have to take whatever you're given. The 2-pin being 2-cut though is quite sad.
Hand develop across the way is developing pretty nicely,
Yep,
but the
looking.
problem is it just still doesn't have any value.
I do like the 9 so cut though because you keep the 6-pin pair around. You can actually shift this towards a potential pinfu, and maybe even there's a world where this becomes a 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku if you get lucky enough with the draws.
But big hand is still Tommy's there on the left.
Yep. Leon's hand is slowly but surely making its way, but when you had to cut that many trash tiles just to get to this point, you're just going to get outsped more times than not.
Now, Sam is now Ishan 10 on the right for Ricci Tanyao.
Still has that outside chance of upgrading to the Sanshoku on a 5-mon draw, but more than likely
Eats.
just going to see the other Ricci Tanya. And there is the Ricci. Going to take the Shabo or the Kanchan? Takes the Shabo.
You do have the Suji Trap 9, but that late 7 should set off some alarm bells.
Yeah, that's one of those situations where I might have actually liked the 4-mon Ricci because it actually makes the 9-mon look a little bit less suspicious.
I agree with that. I like the 4-mon Ricci a lot more for that reason. Because the question
Yeah.
is, why would you still have a 7-mon in your hand after having cut the 6 earlier? So irregular weighting shapes do increase greatly with that type of discard
Yeah.
pile.
It's one of those instances where the intuitive thing as a player, you always just cut the furthest outside tile to reach Eve unless you have a specific reason not to. But so you can get into the habit of making that 7-mon discard without really thinking about why you would ever cut 4-mon. That's gonna be still Shanten, but definitely upgrades over on the left. Plays the 3-mon Suji.
Now, Tommy kind of gave it up with the 1-3 cut earlier. Would have been Tempai now with that 3-so draw, though.
Yeah, however, that 2-pin is just not a good looking tile to get, even though there are 2 in the wall still, despite there
Yeah, you
being
can't
2 cut
really
by turn
think there
8.
are two in the wall here. That pawn desperately
Gee.
screams that it would like a 2-pin, maybe a cut from a 3-3-4 type shape. Except now you're seeing all the threes. The 3-pin is completely dead. It's not something you necessarily think of immediately.
Yep, and there's one of those 2-pin that were still available. Is the 3-pin completely
Two,
dead? Oh yeah, I completely missed the
yeah,
fourth
it
one for some
is.
reason.
It is. It's weird. You see that pawn with just the one early cut, and it's actually completely dead.
Where is this last 9-mon, by the way? Oh, it's held in Leon's hand. It doesn't look like it's coming out.
Yeah, it's not coming. But I mean,
Yeah.
with that hand, the 3,000 is better than winning.
Yep. Getting 3 folds out of that hand is significantly more valuable than winning the majority of the time. But, you know, Earth 3 has a way of rearing its head whenever we commentate games.
Is always the possibility. Oh, we have Dealer here, who I believe is Ryan Shunten, or is that E Shunten? That's E
It's already
Shunten.
Ishan-ten. Potential pin fu if you can draw the 7-pin. But the
7,
8,
yeah.
I'm more
Honestly,
than
I like the
happily.
weight on the north, though. That's filthy.
Yeah. I'm more than happy to take a Richinomi here if it gives me the 8-pin North Shampoo. I feel very confident about having that dealt into.
Here's a
Gee.
question. The 6-so cut, it is by far the most efficient. Do you like cutting 9-pin instead and opening
I
the
do like cutting
possibility for a
9-pin.
Peiko?
I don't really care too much about the Pinfu upgrade because honestly, the 8-pin Pei Shabo is the way that I want to end up on anyway. So I'd prefer to open up the possibility for any Peiko, a Tanyao, just any number of things if you draw around the 6-0.
On the right, we have what definitely looks like a 789 Sanjuku, also potential shift towards Itsu or even Chinitsu. Across the way, a call on the 1-2-3, probably going for the 1-2-3 Sanjuku there as well, is Ishunten for it. And on the left, we see Hatsu pair and not much else, so that's very likely a call and go hand.
Boom.
The Sozu shape is slightly awkward here for the 1-2-3 Sanchoku, so I don't actually think I don't think it's actually Ishanten, or at least not Ishanten to a Yaku.
Let's
There's
see.
gonna
You are
be
right. I don't think it is Ishunten to a Yaku. It's obviously Ishunten. I
Gee.
chi this. That's an instant chi. Yeah, I like this.
yes.
If you
Oh,
call the
okay,
first, you
yeah.
have to take the second. Yeah, and I understand the two.
And now the table's like, wait, what?
Boom.
What is that? And the table is also like, wait, what is that? to
Yes,
these calls.
exactly. I would be utterly confused, especially having seen the Dragon Dora discarded twice already. So it's like, wait,
Yeah.
what's your Yaku?
And very early from these hands as well.
Boom.
For Zach, you can at least kind of assume that it might be Sanshoku just based on the fact that there's only one chi, but with two
Chi.
chis, it's a bit tough to figure out what the Sanshoku is, though.
Well,
Now
we
it's
have 3-player Tempai, all
Yeet.
for one Han.
and now the dealer is
And
Tenpai for their own one Han.
well, maybe more. We'll see what happens. Oh, I think that's
No,
going to deal into nothing. That is
yeah,
not a
that's
Yaku.
there is no Yaku. One Mon would be a double run for a whole 2K. However, there is 2,300 points in the
Sumo.
middle, and that was the
It's
only way that
sumo.
Leon was getting it.
I mean, the reach stick from last round, that's actually a pretty good win with the one Han.
Yeah, you get the Fu bonus for the Anko Sumo, you get the Richi stick and you stop Sam's deal. And for
Move
Leon,
south,
Sam is
too.
definitely the person that they're thinking about the most here, as they are minus 1.6 to each other in the standings here with second and third place.
Both
you can
still in an
say-
excellent situation for promotion.
Yes, but at the same time, you can say, oh, like yes, they're probably gonna promote like regardless, but winning a division is a good feeling, regardless of whether or not
definitely
it
is.
means anything. I'm still mad about the Beta League.
You can look up the old scores and see what happened there, but
I cannot
spoilers, I
believe-
snuck one out at the end.
Could not believe I lost first place overall in our pool to 3 consecutive Apatsumos in my last game.
I can't. Seems very in line with how a lot of ARML games tend to go. But back to this one at South 2, we have Zach here with a Pinfu type hand and the Dora. Maybe an outside chance 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku. Maybe not quite an outside chance now. You're definitely thinking about it with that draw. On the right, definitely a Pinfu type hand. That 7-mon really helps. Maybe even an Itsu if you can draw the 3-mon or 1-mon. Across the way, definitely a Pinfu type hand with the Dora. And on the left, a Pinfu with 2 choices for Ipeco upgrades.
And we did draw the 1-1 here for Zach, but we did cut the 3-pin, unfortunately. I'm just not quite looking for the Sanshoku. Definitely, the widest acceptance is definitely the 7-pin, but the 7-8 pin is also a tough shape to get away from. So now with all 4 9-pin out, I feel like the 7-pin just needs to come out and you can try to
Eat.
find a better floating tile. Oh, there's Tenpai up there. It's gonna be Riichi Dora waiting on the Kanchan. Oh, oh no.
I need you just cut the okay. I
Okay.
figured cutting one of the pairs is the way to go. Problem is that 8-pin kind of shuts the hand down as the 9 is dead. You'd
Yes.
just be drawing to the 6.
Yes. Okay.
I
Now just
think I
deciding to
prefer
fold.
just jamming the 7-pin there, locking that integer pair, and seeing what else happens.
Yes. Yeah. Jamming the 7-pin, or even taking a taking the long Suji 3 so.
Yeah, 3 so I don't mind either, but I can certainly see the 8. It does look like the safest tile on that pond.
Yes. Though I think it's marginable. I think it's marginal enough compared to the 7-pin with no red 5s that
Yeah, that's
I
how
just
I
kind of
feel
I want
as
to fight
well.
his dealer. But at the same time, he is in first place.
Oh, and there's the last 2 so possible upgrade to a Peiko here.
He does decide to push the 8 so I assume if Tenpai is drawn, we will see the 7-pin come out.
Oh, sure. When you have a hand like this, a Ricci, Pinfu, Ipeco, Dora as dealer, Ishunta, I think
Yeah.
instant
The
push.
awkward thing is that if he draws 1-4 so, it's not actually going to be Pinfu most of the time because of the way the Manzu shape is shaped out.
Yeah, but do you ever want to throw a 3-mon into that pond?
Oh no, never. Ooh, that's an interesting draw. Plays the Genbutsu 1 so just keeps the Ishanten, but now has just Kutsuki on the 6-mon and the 7-pin. The 7-pin being not great though with all the
Might
Pinzu
have a
around the
problem you draw
deck
the
and
7-mon.
Furiton.
That would be a 3-sided 4-10.
Yeah, which we might see the 7-pin willing to push for with how cheap Pinzu looked at his board. Oh,
Well, I think this just deals in.
I
The
don't
6 is
know.
actually a better
You can
play
cut the
here.
6-mon, yeah, because you know that it's yeah. There it
Ooh,
is.
Dama, okay.
Because you see the 9-mon and you know that the
Exactly.
3-mon is Dora proximate.
Right, exact. This type of shape, where it's an irregular shape that uses Dora,
Yeah, so
will match up a lot to this type of situation. Good discipline there.
yeah, so 3-mon and 6-mon essentially are going to deal into a 4-5-mon either way. So you really want to avoid dealing into the Dora shapes like exactly 1-2-mon or even 2-2-2-1-mon, which would be absolutely disastrous. That shape doesn't really come up very often, but when it does, it's it can really trap some people.
We will have 2 players Tempai, as does get in there for the Tempai payments and pulls out 1,500. Cross Lelia and only nets 500, which always feels really bad.
Yeah, and this is a big 1,500 points to pick up for Zach, just cushioning his lead a little bit. Because right now he's still within Mangan range of multiple players. But if he can even win a single hand here, he might be able to cheap and run his way to winning this game.
We're in South 2-1 here. Dealers Ishunt, and I think I like cutting the 1-mon more than the 7-pin because you have the extra pair. I kind of like to keep a Dora adjacent shape. But okay, if you're
Ooh,
just going
all right.
Itsu,
Looking
that's
for
one
Itsu,
way.
yeah. Definitely, it looks like looking at her stats, Zach is not the most open player, but definitely playing a bit more aggressively tonight with some of these calls.
On the right,
Honk.
that is a Pinfu hand that is so far away from Pinfu you don't recognize it. Across the way, we see the South Call. Look to pull another
Yeah,
door, but actually Ishuntin's good enough for the 1 Han. Would get you over 30K as well.
and
And
that's
on
the
the
big
left, a
thing
few
here is the
pairs. I think
30K.
it's cheat toy.
Yeah, especially with the 3-so draw, there's really not much else you can do. You have a Dora in hand, you have 4 pairs. None of the shapes is particularly usable. Hmm. Okay, cuts the 1. So this also may just be Zach remembering that absurd Chinizu he won and believing that he can do it again. Though this
Tempai
time it
across the
looks like
way, waiting on the 5-8 mon for 1 Han.
is this Dora gonna come out or is it gonna be held? It's just gonna come out immediately. No interest in trying to
Well,
force something
especially with the
around it.
5 having just come out, I don't mind it that much.
Yeah, I agree. Just get rid
If
of
you
it
don't
now
throw
because
it
it's
this
really only
turn,
gonna hurt
it
you.
feels like it's going to be locked in the hand.
Which, like, maybe in this situation, like, once I'm open
相撲
for this, I might try to greed, but there's the sumo anyway, and then everything we were talking about stops mattering. This does get
Exactly.
Leon over 30k, which is a pretty big deal for him, and a pretty bad deal for Zach, because he really could use any and all extra points right now, as he's in the worst state right now at this table.
Right. And Tommy is now dealer in South 3. You'd have
Dora,
two
but
Dora, which is
absolute
nice to come
garbage
in.
shapes.
Do you almost just sell out for Chanta?
Is this actually the Chanta hand? Yeah.
I think this is just a meme Chanta.
I hate it so much, but like, what are you gonna do?
Well, you cut the 5, so there is the possibility of the 789 Sanshoku. And Sanshoku
I
Chanta
agree.
Dora 2 is a perfectly legitimate hand.
Oh yeah, I mean even Chantadora too, especially as dealer here. It's just it feels bad, and once you make like more than one call, like
You're stuck with it. Well, you know what
yeah,
else feels bad? The rest of this hand anyway.
yes, that's true. You play for Chanta because it is the option that is given to you, and you would like to win your Dora 2 hand, but man, you wish that you were given any other option.
Yeah, and cuts the 5, so definitely hedging that way. On the right, that is definitely a Chi-Toy play. You could
Yep.
also go Toy, but it's going to be very hard to call the 7 Mon and 3 so.
I
Across the
wouldn't hate
way,
the
nice
Toy
fill in with
Rush.
a 2 pin. And that is actually perfect Ishan 10 for Richi Pinfu. And on the left, we have a Pinfu style hand, but also quite a bit away. Desperately
Boom.
needs the 7 pin and probably a 5 Mon.
We do
And
see
there's
the
our
Jeez.
call
Pong
on the
here.
right.
Oh, and the Pong gives the Ricci, so that's just gonna be Ricci Pinfu. If you're
Richi
Sam,
Pinfu,
you
but
just
with
kind of want the points,
yeah.
and you're limiting the deal of
Boom.
the player directly competing with
Ooh,
you.
yeah.
That is
Now
a
Dora
very
comes out of
brave.
Ipatsu, and Dealer says, "Okay, well,
Sumo.
if you're going to give me that option," and ends up shifting the draw as there's the sumo Richi Sumo Pinfu. No aura, but does help Sam close the gap a little bit.
Yeah, not what you
I
wanted to see for
believe takes
Tommy, because
over by
that
100
should.
points.
Yep, just barely, but Sam does get himself out of last place going into South 4. Not a bad hand here for Tommy to try to get himself back over Sam, though, starting with the West Onko.
Well, dealer here is just barely over 30k, so very susceptible to sumo loss. And is looking at this hand and going, how do I get value out of it? And the answer is maybe Peiko with
Yeah.
that draw.
The answer
You
is
also,
you win the hand and get value the next hand.
okay, I
There's
like
potential
one pin
Pinfu here
cut
now.
here. Yeah,
Yes, I
especially
agree.
now.
One pin
Yeah, I
lets you
like
move
cutting
towards a
one.
potential Tanyao and a potential Pinfu.
Yeah, I think the 3's a mistake for that exact reason. If you gain the 6 pin, you haven't done anything with the hand, and the Sansku itself is just so far off, it's not really worth considering. On the right, we have the Anko of the Hatsu, bunch of
There's the
pairs,
immediate
also
backfire.
possible. Oh, that hurts to see. Across the way, there's a South pair up, so that's likely a call and go hand, especially in first. And
In
on the
first place.
left, we
Yeah.
have the Anko of the West, but no Yaku yet,
Yeah.
trying
Uncle
to
of the
get to the
West and
456
4
Soju.
Ryanmen. Just try to fill in one of them and then see where the hand goes afterward.
Chi.
Calling for the open Sanshoku. I think that's
Open
a
Sanshoku
little.
just trying to get out of last place. However, I think you could have potentially been a little bit
Yeah, I
more
prefer staying
greedy.
closed here. I mean, it is frustrating when you get a hand like that, but okay,
Oh, but
gets to
does draw a
Tenpai
Tenpai.
now. The problem is the 4 is completely locked up, and I think it's staying in these hands.
This would be an aggressive con, but I wouldn't necessarily hate it for
Instant
Sam.
con. I instant con that West. I think that is a mistake. If
Oh,
you've
the
made that
West,
play, you
yes.
should absolutely con that West.
The West, yes. I was talking about actually the Hatsu over for Sam on the right. This is gonna be a Dama Pinfu Nomi. I'm not sure how I feel about this. Maybe he just doesn't want to reach himself
Everything
under.
about this.
He
I
doesn't
didn't
want to
like the
reach
3
himself
pin
under
cut.
30k.
Well, yeah, but a decent sumo is going to knock you under 30k anyway. So unless you see it as exactly the type of hand that Tommy has, you basically sabotage yourself. And even here, if you win, it's going to feel so
Sumo.
sad.
There's the Sumo. Sumo Pinfu gets to play the next hand, but yes, this hand definitely could have been an opportunity to take first place.
Yeah, I think that if you play it a little different, that's a Richi Sumo Pinfu Tanyao and fishing for Aura. But regardless, now in a position to still potentially get first place.
I immediately am just drawn to. All right, so what is the plan here if you are Sam and if you are Tommy? Because they're really one, they want to get over 30k. They can both do so with a 330 hand, and two, they want to make sure that they at least hold third place.
Well, if you're Tommy, I think I'm just going Cheetoy. You could go Toy Toy, but I don't really like. Well, now you can even think Peko. So I'm definitely going a regular hand. There is a
Yes.
very, very distant June Chom, but I'm not really considering it. You also have the possibility back into a 79 Sonshuku. So I think Tommy has a lot of options,
Now that's a
actually.
good draw up there for Zach. Draws himself into Ishanten for a hand that could win him the game. He also, this is also one of those moments where you have to consider. Oh, I really like cutting 4-pin here. Okay, that works as well. I want the 4-pin to come out from Zach at some point so that he can set up the Suji trap and make it significantly
I
more
mean,
likely
just
that he
taking
wins
the
this
Ricci on
shift
that would
combo.
be fine. Your only concern here is you're starting to look too much like a Cheetoy.
Yeah, that's not really something that I think is being thought about. Honestly, I don't even try to read Chitoy unless it's like glaringly obvious.
I don't know, 8 mon, 3 mon, 6 pin, 4 pin sounds pretty glaringly obvious to me.
Yeah, that's fair. But reading is
On
hard.
the right, possible Itsu, but needs some shifting. The rest of the hand isn't great though. Is Ryan Shunten? No, he's actually Ishunten. He's the 3-8 mon for Ichidora. So I think if you get it, you just take it.
Yeah, and that's going to be an Ishanten draw for Tommy as well. Leaves himself the Peko out is just in a nice Ishanten himself. Just
And
needs any
gives some
Tenpai here.
more outs on the right. Oh, doesn't take it. I think you definitely get the south there if you are Sam.
Yeah, but the double south is so nice. But yeah, at this point, it's just hurting your efficiency a little bit too much. Though that is going to draw him into Ishanten.
But
Takes this
just
one.
you were already in Ishunten. I have a different one.
Similar quality. That is, huh. Do you ever
Ooh, it's a
consider?
tough one.
I feel like I just play the 1-3 so and just consider that this
I
could
agree. Yeah,
maybe
I
be a
agree.
Honey too. Oh, and now this could upgrade to a Sun Menchon here for
I'm
Zach.
definitely cutting one pin here.
Yeah,
Still
one
goes with
pin
the
or one
so.
so. Yeah, I
Beats.
think they're fairly like equivalent.
Ooh, Tempai on the left. Will you take the Pinfu or will you take the guaranteed Ipeco?
Oh, takes the guaranteed Peko. I think maximizing your winning chances here when you're only 100 points down might feel a little bit better. Oh, and this is going to be a chase
Well, I think it
though,
Beats.
or
has
at
to be
least
a
it could be.
chase. Yeah.
Yes, you can't really,
Ricci,
you can't
Ricci
pass this
Dora.
hit back. Oh, and this
So for the
5-man would have been the
7.
easy
Oh
cut.
no!
Oh,
Don't.
no.
Patsu! That's going to get over 30K any aura, and this all of a sudden gets very close. Doesn't get the aura,
Doesn't
but we'll
quite
get
hit it.
into a third place with a pretty decent positive. And pretty rough there for Tommy. Will end up taking a minus 30.5. The big winner here is Zach with 19.9. We
Plus 20 is
have
exactly where he's looking to be at just for an average game. He's got 8 games left, or well, 7 games left now, and he's right at that minus 100. So if you can get 20 points a game, you're going to find yourself in a good spot by the season's end. However, 20 points a game is not the easiest thing to average.
very difficult to pull off. In second place, we have Leon with +8. And in third place, with that big win at the very end with the Apatsu, Sam with 2.6.
Yeah, Sam keeping himself as close to Leon as he can in these standings, but the positive is just already good enough for him at this point. Really, all
All
he
right.
needs to
Well,
do is avoid losing points.
looks like we have all sorts of games. There's a B1 game, a B2 game, and an A1 game. Take your pick.
Gotcha. I mean, it looks like this game just restarted again. I'd be down to just stick with this game for this
All right.
table for 2
Sounds
games.
good.
It was just a very unfortunate result for Tommy there. That does not feel like the type of game that you feel like you should be the only one under 30K. Just the way it played out. Yep, and we do have the stats update, so that does put Leon at the top of B2 for this season. Still
I
7
mean, you're
games
sitting
remaining,
there with
and
a low deal and rate like that. You're feeling pretty good. Decent win rate, that 22.7, and just overall, just pretty standard stats.
yeah,
If you
lots of
can keep
very,
that
very
spread,
high
very good.
participation rates in B2 this season. 4 or 5 people pushing 65%.
Wow, I like the 65. That's where I generally want to be. But then again, I guess I'm a bit of an aggressive player.
Yeah, you call for Yaku that really don't aren't there. It's the whole meta in you.
It's true. If you've played in Ho, which is Tenno's top room, they're crazy with their calls.
It's there's a lot of pawn something fine Yaku later if you think that there's any value to the pawn or the chi.
Yeah, so you'll see kind of similar things in A1 versus B3, even in this division, where in A1 people just say, "Forget it, speed up, go for the one Han," and because you're afraid of everyone building value.
I mean, we say that, however, I think my average win this season is around 7,600 points. Been absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
wish I had that. Well, how many Yakumo did you get? I know you got at least one.
I got the one. I got the one. I'm also sitting on 5 positive thirds, so a lot of things that could have gone a little bit more in my favor, but I'll take the dice on it.
Yes, we look at these stats here. Sam is sitting in third place with the pretty good average there at 6,500 and pretty good win percentage.
Yeah,
But
and
the issue here
everyone's
is all those deal ends, but not dealing in for anything that expensive. You
yeah,
can
you
get away
see
with an
him is he's in
18%
the
deal in
bottom
rate
3
if you're
of the
winning.
average deal in, and he's making up for it by being he's at the top of the table in average win size and the bottom of the table in average deal in size. So even though there's not a whole lot of difference, he's getting the points when it counts, and his win rate's not even that far below the average.
Of course, we also have Tommy, who's sporting an amazing 30% win rate.
Yes, I've seen more 30+% win rates this season than I think I remember seeing like anywhere across like all leagues.
Well, you have so many people who just get in that defensive position, then one person can take advantage of it and just roll the table with one Han or two Han, and eventually you're going to hit that Mongon.
Yes, that Mongon does pretty much always end up coming in. So it's like those 3 2K hands really don't matter as much as you want them to when you're paying out 4K on your deal.
And finally, we have Zach, who I guess the problem there is just not having as much on those wins. The win average value isn't that high at 4,500. I mean, it's not like whoa, but with a 13.5% dealing rate and those low averages, you'd feel like you should be doing a lot better.
Yeah, it's like he's sitting at like very similar numbers in terms of like win size to Tommy. However, Tommy's winning a whole whopping 12% more hands than he is. And
Yeah.
even then, that
And
hasn't even helped Tommy all that much, as they are closer together in the standings than they are to the top of the table. It's just Leon and Sam.
we have the game starting here.
Seven
And
Mondora
dealer here
is
has
nowhere
a
to be seen.
Well, means the wall could be very fun coming forward. Dealer has a Pinfu type hand, no value yet. On the right, also looks like Pinfu type hand with no value. Maybe Itsu and Mon if you get some draws. Across the way, similarly a Pinfu type hand, but so many Kanchans to fill. Like I said, Pension. Now you have the Hatsu pair up. You can go just call and be done with it. You have the floating Dora. So I think that's probably how I'd go about it. And that seems to be the play with the 9 so cut. And on the left, similarly, a Pinfu hand that's not that close. Seems like a theme here.
Yeah, and we do see the Hatsu come out with just the fact that this is the only hand able to call. You have to expect that Zach's hand's gonna be the fastest here, barring some very nice draws from players. Though
Already
yeah, Leon does
Shanten.
get to Ishanten. However, it is bad weight Nomi, so we'll see whether or not they're willing to take it, or if they want to greed around the potential like upgrades in 6 pin.
Generally, is deal with a hand like this where I don't see any immediate upgrades. I just like taking the Ricci if I get it.
Yeah, I might, and this is the type of case where if I draw the 8, so I might just play the 2 mon. I
Ooh,
feel
we
like
see
it's
the
early
Dora
enough.
cut
Yeah, playing for the
as
widest
Zach goes a
Ishanten.
little. Yeah, it takes the wider Ishin, especially that 9 mon. You're a little worried about the 4e10, but I like keeping it around for just a little bit more, maybe cutting.
Here's the Dora draw that actually provokes Leon to break the Ishanten entirely. Just prefers the floating 6 pin and the floating 7 mon to this 7 so 9 so Kanchan that has the 8 so once cut already. And
Yeah,
gets
you
the
see the
immediate
exact.
upgrade.
Oh wow! You see the immediate contrast between the play styles, where the 7 comes in, will cut a penchant as opposed to across the way with the open hand, which is of course a big part of this. Go ahead and gets rid of that Dora early and goes for the one Han with a now Tempai 1 pin 5 pin weight.
Oh, and holding the 7 so is going to pay off for him as now he
Wow!
upgrades. There's a potential Sanshoku here now. The Dora's locked in hand. Pinfu's guaranteed almost. This hand has become quite good quite fast for Leon. However, Zach is Tempai for his 1000. And that's going to be the deal in.
Come out right. Maybe not this turn, but certainly the
I-
next
It's
one.
it's coming. Unless you draw exactly the 1 pin, and even then, I might play the 1 pin instead of West West.
This is a important thing that people should pay attention to. Cutting a 3-mon there is very important. In case you do draw another door, you can put it in your hand.
Yes, take that shift up towards the Dora just in case. The 1-mon actually might look a little bit sus now because of that 3-mon, but it's just gonna come right out. I mean, this is a hand that you fight with as dealer.
Certainly.
Beach.
Speaking of fighting hands, we have one on the left for
Here's the
Ricci, Pinfu,
Ricci.
Tanyao,
1 pin
possibly
doesn't look
Peiko.
terrible to cut here.
No, I'm cutting 1 pin.
Yeah.
7, yeah. With 7, so yeah, it suits you to the Ricci tile. There are certain shapes that it could deal into. The 1 just looks so safe with literally 2, but deals into the different hand for the 1000. And we are in East 2. Dealer has a few pairs, maybe a 3, 4, 5 Sunshigu here. Also going to use 3 Sodora twice if they come, but that 4 So definitely feels like it cheapens the hand. It gives you a lot more options.
Yes, it's definitely the force was the draw you want if you're actually just looking to win the hand at all, but does not give the most value upgrades like drawing a 3
Well,
so or
that 3
something
pin
would.
makes you think about it. If you draw 3 you could always just cut the 5 later
Yeah,
and get that Sunshigu that
just play
way.
the 4 so and go for
The
the
Peiko,
Peiko.
Dora
Locking
2.
yeah,
Yeah,
locking
lots
the
of
3-mon as a
options.
pair potentially.
On the right, Pinfu type hand, also looking for that Ipeiko. Across the way, the Hatsu is called, already Ishunten.
Oh, and
Just the
that's gonna be
Hatsu,
the
though.
Tanya upgrade for Sam. Now has a
And,
pawnable Tempa or pawnable Ishanten. Not the
and
worst.
on the
Oh,
left, we see a
unfortunate.
Pinfu type hand, probably a bit away from the Sunshigu, though. But,
Yeah,
I mean, if you get
it's
Tempai, you'll take it.
possible, but it's like it feels quite difficult. You'd have to give up quite the you'd have to draw exactly 7-mon and soon. Oh, there
Well,
is
that's an
the
interesting draw. Yeah, you have so many options now.
now Sam potential for the Pinfu with Ipeco or Dora waits.
Tommy having cutting those 2 Dora, it's always
Yeah.
frustrating.
Took the widest Ishanten by playing the 2 so and then immediately was punished with back-to-back 3 so's. Sam's Sakagiri in the 5 so cutting it before it becomes dangerous, he's hoping.
In
But does
large part because of those 2 3 Dora. You don't really want to bet
yes.
a 3-6 weight anymore.
And now we see the Four-mon South Shanpan. However, all 4 of those tiles are locked in Leon's hand. The Four-mon is really the only thing I could see potentially being cut. Really just depends on how the hand builds.
Now you have all the blockers, but you don't know it. You're feeling, we may just fold and may end up folding that South into a deal in. But for now,
Yes.
you might as well keep pushing.
Yep. And I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that Tommy's hand is dead either. He could draw a 5-mon and just switch to a nice Rionman.
Yeah, you'd love that Ricci Pinfui Peiko.
Sam just not quite finding his Tenpai yet, though. Looking just to find the Tanyao Intonsu by drawing the 6-mon, but really will probably just take anything.
There you go. That's going to be Tempai Ricci Tanyao, I
I
presume.
like that you just assume this is going to reach it. I was thinking this might actually be a Dama, just because the weight does not inspire much confidence, and Manzu are quite expensive.
I don't know. I'd smash the button, but
Yeah,
that's kind of
yes.
my thing.
Yes. I mean, I probably would as well, just because me dealer, me Tenpai.
Dealer,
However, I think
shiny button. Well,
I
the
don't
other
think
thing
Ricci
is,
is like is a guaranteed decision here.
you can't really use the door in this hand anyway, so I don't see the advantage to the Dama here.
Yes, I do. Well, yeah,
And
there's the
that's
Shilla.
why.
I would have liked the Ricci like to come after the 9-mon was called, just because Manzu probably aren't coming out into that hand anyway, so I would like to apply pressure.
Dealer here has a Pinfu type hand and a loose 9 Sodora on the right. Here's like a Pinfu hand as well, but I need to fill in a couple of those 2-4s. Across the way, a few pairs, maybe a Chitoy, especially with that loose 9 Sodora. And
3
on the
pairs of the
left,
door not
definitely
doing
a Pinfu
anything
hand.
definitely feels cheatoy.
Yeah, a hand on the left, maybe a shift to Chant, most likely just call the Haku and get your 1,000 and be done with it.
Yeah, call the Haku, get your 1,000, pick up the Honba. Feel okay about it, but the shapes also just don't really inspire that much confidence. You would need to find another head. Going to do so. I like cutting the upper Manzu shape here instead of the Sozu, just because I would like to keep the Dora acceptance around.
Well, that's the option when you cut the 6-0 first. You can still accept the Dora.
Yes, but I don't think there's a particular difference between the 6-8 so and the 7-9 mon in terms of
And
weight
now you're in a
quality.
really tough situation where you're actually Fury 10.
Yeah, but this early, the Furryton doesn't feel that bad. Especially because the 9 Sodora is a tile that may end up coming out just from lack of usability.
Oh,
But
look at these
now, now
backfires. This is
punish
so
on both
sad
of
to
them.
see.
It's so unfortunate. I don't disagree with shifting once you draw the 7 so back, but sometimes it just be that way. Yep,
Gee,
and there's
Well,
that
there
Dora
you
coming
go.
out.
That's the easiest call you're ever gonna make.
Yep. However, that only came out because Tommy's actually made their way to a decent Ishanta. Potential for
That
Ipeco. Still has
here's
4 pairs.
something. I kind of like cutting the 3-pin there instead of the 9-mon.
3 pin there instead of a Naimon. I'm pretty okay with taking this headless.
You have a whole bunch of upgrade shapes, but I kind of like keeping the Chanta. I guess you can still potentially upgrade this to another Dora, but I don't. Well, now you probably can't because there's only 2 left.
Yeah, the upgrade to Chanta just feels quite difficult to me. And
I just see
I would like to
nine
be able
mon
to.
is super cheap on this table, so I like it a lot. Regardless, though, we do have the Tempai on the left for 2,000, waiting on 2-mon.
Not quite Tempai up top for Tommy. Still looking. This also is a headless Ryanchan 10 here for Sam for a hand it's come a long way. And if it can get one more progress draw, it'll be in fighting shape. What's a bit interesting is that Dora Tonki is still on the table for Leon. It would be a hell wait, but they're both still out there.
Yeah, but do you really think they're both out there? And I'm seeing that late 7 so cut on the right. I'm figuring there's probably one in that hand as well.
Yeah, but
Oh, I
like,
like the 9 weight, though. Yeah,
yeah,
that's going to be
shifting
an
here
instant
feels really
stretch.
good. That 9 pin just came out from Sam, who did
gee,
just draw his Ishanta.
Be a call for what will be open Itsunomi.
Yep, the Itsu.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah, of course
and
that's what happens.
yeah,
The third backfire of this hand.
the wall is just not in favor tonight for Leon. And yet, I mean, he's the one who got second place last game and is the only one currently Tempai. So the wall doesn't hate him too much. Ishanten is upgraded up there for Tommy. However, would be Furryton if he chose to take the 6-9 so Rhiannon on the door that was called. Oh, and there's the
Oh,
two-sided
that's
weight.
an
Yeah,
easy
that's gonna be an easy
upgrade.
shift.
Yeah.
Has the
Now
open
you have the
Ipeko.
1-4.
The open Ipeko that young Max thought should be a Yaku. Oh, here's
Oh, I
another
think we
Dama.
all did that, especially those of us who learned on the Flash game.
Oh, I just learned from being taught in person. I went I
Kumo.
was taught and then this is Katsumo for Damoing the Pinfunomi. Sam, press the
All
button.
these Jama Sumos, I'm
Press the
already
button,
mad.
Sam.
But move to East 2-2. Dealer has maybe a path to Honitsu, but just kind of wait and see. It's hard to tell what this hand is.
Yeah,
Like,
this
I'm
doesn't
keeping
feel
Tanyo
particularly
open, I'm keeping
Honitsu.
Honitsu open, I'm
I
keeping
like
the Dora shape open. I like cutting 9-so there, maybe
I
the
like
2-so.
Tuso. I like Tuso a little bit more. Just to keep the shapes around.
Now, a good hand, on the other hand, is what you see on the right, which is Ishanten Forichi Pinfu Dora, already
Yep.
on turn 2, across the way.
If
Look at
you
a Pinfu
draw
hand, but a bunch of Kanchans.
Korak, if you draw a 3-6-0 into that hand, do you just jam the Ricci or do you just play 8-so or 8 pin and wait?
I don't think this is a question. I would hit the button. I have been
Yeah,
told
I
it
don't
is
know why I
shiny, and I
ask.
can confirm.
Yeah, I don't know why I ask. I feel like on turn 3, turn 4 with like 6 months, 6 pin upgrades to potential Tenfu,
This is a fun draw.
I feel like
Yeah, okay,
waiting.
takes the 1. I don't mind this one.
I like this play a
I would have
lot.
cut the 8 instead of the 6, but I do
Yeah,
like keeping that really nice shape in Mon.
yeah, upgrading inward is very, very possible here, and you really don't need to be super worried just yet. And now that's actually the Pinfu Ishanten exactly that
And
keeping the 1-1 allowed you to have.
we didn't even get to the rest of the hand, but there on the left, you have the North pair. trying to turn it into Honitsu, but may just not be the
Already,
fastest hand here.
already used Shanten, but needs one of those 5-mon. Those 5-mon do not seem readily available. Can just palm the north and take Pei Nomi. They are both still walled. Potential Itsumi
Ooh,
Peko
I
here for
don't like
Sam.
cutting that 3-pin. I don't like cutting that 3-pin at all.
Wait,
I
when did we
think
cut the
I would
2-pin? Ooh, or when did we cut
the
the 2-mon?
Tumon, yeah, well, because he filled in the shape in so, and ended up cutting the Tumon. I definitely keep the 3-pin around. You cut the 5-mon. This gives you a potential Sunshoku with a 1-2-3.
Yeah. And there's not even any Furryton because the pins that you cut are far enough away. And now, yeah,
Yeah,
Yeesh.
and I
that's
have the disgusting Tonki. Which one do you? It is technically
the
Nakatsuji.
Russian Tonki. You love to see it. Rishidora, Nakasuji. Oh, that's gonna
Just
be
waiting on the
Tenpai.
5-mon Tonki. Ooh, and
How
Tenpai on the
how are we gonna
left.
have two of these hands waiting on
I
5-mon?
think you have to just jam it here. And the 4 does not look good at all, but like, what
Yeah.
else you can do? You're
From
gonna
from
fold?
Leon's position overall in the league, I don't think you need to actually take this risk. However, it's not like 6-mon was particularly safe. So if you're gonna do that, I think you just push.
Yeah, if any of this 6-mon screams danger with 8-mon early cut and 2-mon later cut.
Yeah. It's Edeonken. It's totally real, right? Not quite for this hand, but
It's not
the
quite, but it's
the
effectively
principle
the
is there.
same way.
The principle is there. Yeah, Sam broke his Ishan 10 as well to play the Richitao Sushi 8, so well, still trying to hold on to what could potentially be an expensive hand, but it just doesn't feel possible to get to this late. So with that draw and 3 Sushi tiles to cut,
I'm pushing. I'm pushing the 3-mon especially. Oh, it is
this
Dora
is
though. That's
yeah,
the
the
only
3-1 is the
problem.
Dora. That's
Yeah, I'd cut the 9-so first, but
I
I'd
think
definitely be
the 8
going.
so was already Genbutsu from his previous push, so I might have pushed that first, and then
Yeah, that
I'd be
makes
willing to push
sense.
the 9 so.
Which is live. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah. Oh, Khan? That makes 0 sense to Khan, but it'd be funny. Yeah, but there's the 5-pin. Ishanten for Tommy. Potential Sun Anko, but it's just too late to do anything besides get
Yeah,
Kaken.
at this point, everyone just kind of made their decision. You could
Oh,
see
there's
back
the
into
9
Tenpai, but
so.
that's not it. Yeah.
Yeah, the 9 so being Shompai is definitely scared off quite a few potential Mawashis here. Oh, and the 5 so would have been similar to the Haite.
Well, still, even so, getting the 3,000, not a bad outcome.
Yes,
It's
and
a
rewarded with
great
quite the
starting
good
hand.
high pie, yes.
Wow. So the question is, which Sunshoku do you want to go for? And seem to have gone for the 2-3-4 here.
Yes,
I
I
definitely
think.
cut the south first rather than commit to it.
Yeah, you
But
want to
okay, now
hedge.
we end up at the same place.
The thing is, like, I get really sad here if I get the Hatsu instead of the Tolm.
Double east, yes. Well, interesting. If you get the east, you just abandon the Sunshoku. And, well, okay, so I'm cutting 3-4.
I agree. I really want the double east here. I think it's much more likely and valuable than Sanshoku.
You see the hesitation, but does cut the 2-3.
Yes.
So the same concept, but I just like the one weight is Chiable, figuring it's going to be a lot
Yes.
better than
Maybe
2-5.
thinking that there's like some really fun worlds where this is the Honitsu. But yeah, I think taking the better class Ryanman definitely the more consistent play to getting this to Tenpai.
Although a nice little Ishan 10 for 3 Han. On the right, that is also an Ishan 10, but kind of an ugly one.
Yeah, you really want to just fill in like a 4-7 so and
Yeah,
play
go
it
for
that
the
way
Peiko
instead.
and Pinfu would be a lot better. Across the way,
Yeah, and you
that
really want
feels
to
like a cheat toy that's too far off.
3-pin cut. Interesting. I guess that's a Tanyao commit.
I
Maybe
would
just
get your
maybe a bit.
Tanya out, but I think you just throw the 8-so back first.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think the 8-so really ever does anything too much. He might be falling in love with the 6777 mon shape here. And
This is an
that's
instant chi. I don't think
yes.
this
Gee.
should have taken this long to cut.
Yep.
Okay, there it goes.
There it is. Take the 8-pin or take the 5 mon, take your 10 pi. If you get
On
the
the
8
left,
mon, it's like okay.
we haven't mentioned it, but that's Ishan 10 on the left for Richi Pinfu Dora.
Yeah,
This
potential
maybe even
Sun Menchon as
three-sided.
well. We see 5 of the 369 pen.
Ooh,
Ooh.
now you have another door. You just cut. Yeah.
Oh, I love the Dora 1-mon Chabo here. Who cares about
Oh,
Pinfu?
that one mon looks disgusting. I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to keep the shape for now in case you draw the 9.
Oh, and there's the 6-mon draw. So Tommy now has upgraded to Tanya and can add potentially Keiko here if he can get a
Also
4 or
had
7 so.
Sananko.
Oh yeah, true. Sanonko, very possible. Oh, that's gonna be
Well,
the deal in.
I
I mean,
don't see how
surely.
that. Yeah,
That's just as
there are
unfortunate.
some deal-ins for just like, okay, whatever. That's one
You,
of
you,
them.
you could show me like all of the information, I'd still be tempted to cut East because it's correct. Like you could tell me it was dealing in and be like, but it's the correct thing to discard.
Ooh, interesting cutting the south pair right off the bat. Normally, you just cut the chute if you want to get rid of all those honors.
Yeah, there are
I
some
think that
players
may
that
have
are
been a misclick.
really there are some players that are just quite against guess win pairs, but they are really nice to have in your hand. Oh, but
Well,
does
okay,
immediately
that's
draw the chin
why.
back. Just
Shows
know.
what we know.
Yeah, just know. That's actually might be one of those cases where I even cut the form on because Chanta actually kind of feels doable here.
Yeah, but do you want the 2, 3, 4 Sanshku? You have options either way.
Yeah, that's true. Or maybe even you just cut the 3-pin because you kind of want another head besides the chin.
I'd have cut
That
the just
that
a
one
7, 9.
Yeah, that 1-2 form shape is actually quite nice for finding a second pair once because you don't have a pair in this hand realistically once you palm the chin.
Right, but there's the Chun Pon on the right. Well, any choice of this being anything but Cheeto, I seem to have disappeared with that 3-mon draw.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
that one
definitely a
monster.
sellout there.
Yep.
Across the way, that is Ishan 10. You'd love to accept the Dora, but if it doesn't come, it doesn't come. And on the left, oh,
Ooh,
Toy Toy
toy toy.
instead.
Hmm.
Not going to have any value this way, though, but does give you
Yeah,
the ability to call.
can dream of the Dora, but I think if you're thinking, I guess it was a little bit early to be thinking about toy toy when the Yakuhai were cut. But
Right, on the
usually
left,
the rule of
Pinfu
thumb
type
for
hand.
usually the rule of thumb for Toy Toy Rush is you want to have at least one extra Han besides Toy Toy. And then there's a bunch of like theory slash feeling on the tiles that you
What's
should have
easy
in
to
hand if you
call,
try to
quote
rush.
unquote.
Yeah, easy to call, aka like your 1s and 2s, your 8s and 9s, your honor, your red 5s, anyway.
Well, there's the one we deal in. It's just going to be the 1,000, but with all the Homba in the middle, it's not just 1,000, 2,200.
Yep, Sam paying back some of those Tomo that he got back, and with the hand that he paid out last time, is now finding himself in last place after similarly a couple dealer hands. Has definitely left a couple of points on the table with Dama, but he also made us feel the same way as Leon that he really doesn't need to take many risks here.
We're in East 4. Dealer has a few pairs and a lone South Dora. Could go Cheetoy, could go conventional hand. Lots of options here. On the right, Pinfu type hand. Not much else there, really. Across the way, you have an awkward 6, 6, 6, 7 Mon along with a 9 Mon pair. Could even go Tanya cutting the 9 Mon pair, but you could just also go Richi Nomi, which seems to be the direction, keeping the South around just in case it pairs up, going for extra value. On the left, Pinfu Taipan, the question is, can you get any takeout out of it some way? There is also a distant Junchan or Chanta as well.
Yeah, and the Junchan slash Chanta, like it feels okay, except for the fact that that's like the best tile in hand right now are the floating 7 and the floating 4 which are quite difficult to actually force into this Chanta slash
Right, and
Junchan.
having cut the 6 pin, then you immediately hit the backfire because that was the thing he was keeping it.
Oh,
Well,
but
now I'm
there's
cutting
the
four
penchant
mon.
fill.
Now you just sell out. Yeah, I like this.
Yeah, the 7 so I think you could still hedge and cut the 7 so first, just because
Here's the
the 8
thought:
so
if
is
you're
already
Tommy,
clear
do you
cut.
chi the 4?
G the 4, it feels so bad. Like this hand feels like you can play it closed. I'm not a fan of the 3-mon cut. I think there might be a little bit of tunnel vision on the Itsu and the Pinzu. I think you
I
can
think
just
I'd
play
have
this hand
she
for
gone for
Pinzu.
Tanya because I don't like the shapes at all. But the first attempt by it across the way, the 3-sided weight, Ricci, Tanya, possible Pinfu.
Yeah. Hey, you're a little bit sad when you win the 7-mon here. Well, if you
Oh,
win the
here's your
7-mon
other
here.
3. Oh, yeah, that's definitely
Yeah, but I mean, this was the shape when the 3-mon was cut. And,
right.
like the 3-mon really wouldn't have been the tile you're looking for, but like the 1-4 upgrade is quite nice. Yeah, it looks like this is just gonna be a fold for Tommy.
most
though he does
likely.
not have the best tiles to fold with. So may
White
just kind of end
Dragon's
up
fine.
pushing just like by having to. Oh, is that? No, it's not quite Tenpai.
No, it's Ishan 10.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
there's
not
the two so.
anymore.
Yep, just gonna be a fold. But with a three-sided weight, like you do expect to sumo this sooner or later. It's just a matter of
I
whether or not
think
you get the
I
pin
like
through.
cutting the 8 so and then maybe the 9 so instead if you're gonna just half fold.
Yeah, I like the Mawashi of playing the Sotogawa 9, so it's one chance they cut it on turn 3. Like, how often
Eats.
do they really need it? Oh, there's gonna be the
We have a
chase.
Tempai on the right. That is a Ryanman 5-8 weight
Yeah, Riichi
for
Pinfu. And
Richi Pinfu.
now that 8 so is kind of hurting. That 8 so does not look cuttable into Leon's
Yeah, and
hand.
what do you fold into that hand with? I guess the 1 pin is probably fine, but that's not safe
Yeah,
against the original Ricci.
I think was no, yeah. Well, the 4 pin just came out, so the
Boom.
1 pin feels a little bit
There's
better.
the
But
8
yeah,
doesn't
there's gonna be
matter.
8 so.
Ricci Pinfu.
Yeah, just not a whole lot. It was either that or cut like I think Dora would have been a hell weight at that point. But yeah. Oh no, Dora would have been dead. I think South was probably the cut there. However, it's definitely easy to miss that with the speed of having to deal with two Richis.
Now it is South 1. Dealer has pretty good shape in Mon. You just go Chinitsu with this.
Dealer, yeah.
I
Unless you
don't sell
draw
out on it, but I'm certainly going to push in that direction, especially the one
unless
so
you draw
Dora indicator. I'm going to keep
yeah,
the
unless you draw
option.
exactly two, so
Right. Even 3 so I don't feel bad about. You just go 1, 2, 3 with the Sun, just going to Dora.
yeah, the
But very
question
much
is
a keep your options open.
how aggressively you're gonna go for this Chinese though. Like if we see okay, well now
Okay,
with the
yeah,
six
there
mon
we
draw.
go. Yeah, I agree
But
with
prior to that,
this.
like would
Just
you have
go.
cheat a one mon?
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like I would have as well, but it's just like
Boom.
it's aggressive. We'll say. But I'm a huge proponent of like fake like the half bluff on these type of honitsu slash shinitsus because the table has to respect it. You're the dealer and you're threatening 12k at the very least.
Right. On the right, we see the call the Chun, already Ishan 10. Could
And
take
that's
Tempai
gonna
for
be oh
Doratanki. Oh, instead takes the passes
no,
on it
it's
and is now Tempai. You take the weight
not
to
quite
use the Dora.
tenpai.
Oh wait, you're right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a
I think
6, not a 5. I am blind.
I think that 6-0 pass may have potentially been Dora agreed. I think they really want the 3-0.
See, I think if you're passing it, if you cheat it, you're taking Dora. Your plan's going to be
Yes.
for the Doratanki.
Yes, I don't disagree. However, it looks like Leon at some point likely is going to cut this 3-5 pin into the hand and give them 10 pies. So we'll see what they decide to do if they take the Ryanman or the Dora Kanchan.
Across the way, we have a South pair, a whole
Oh,
bunch of other pairs, so lots of options.
I kind of want to cut 5 here. Leave the Dora Tanki option available.
I agree with the 5 so. I do not like the 9 so cut because you've also lost Fu. So you lost a ton of value in this hand by discarding that.
Yeah, I mean it's not a ton of value. Like the upgrade is from
See.
2000 2600, but like any and all points are quite good.
Well, no, because now you'd be giving up from 5,200 to 2,000. I think that's a lot.
Yeah, well you'd be on the Dora Tanki now.
But we do have apparently a believer in Sun, so we'll see if it delivers.
It is 3 in the wall and looks quite good to come out from Leon as well. Though being so close to 30k
Eats.
and seeing 2 calls and now a Ricci, a door
Is that
approximate
shape on
tile.
the left? My head hurts looking at. Oh, and there's the Tuso.
Uh, 9 so seems like a reasonable Mawashi here. Yeah.
Yeah, because you would be 4-10 otherwise.
It's the shape definitely is not the prettiest to look at if you're Tommy, but you know what? It's Tenpai.
And it's waiting on that 3 so.
Yeah, the
Would
3
be
so double
Ricci
run would have been
Dora.
quite funny. Leon slowly but surely making his way. However, this is Ishanten. It's Penshan Ishanten, but it is Ishanten.
It is. Well, you threw one ace, you might as well throw the other one. Oh, there's our Tempai, but it's 4-10. You just push the 3 anyway.
Oh no, 4-6 so or
4 or
Gembutsu.
6 are both safe at this point. Oh, Pone. I think it's an
Oh,
instant
snap
Pone.
palm. Snap
Forget
palm.
this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Snap palm. Easy Mongon.
Like, thanks.
Oh
Well, there's the 3 so, and it may look a little safer,
wait,
but it is near Dora.
did that No, that's say.
No, so
I think
that was
Sam
safe. Ace was
Sam would
already
have
safe.
Sam
We
would have
already
drawn the
pushed
three,
it.
so Sam would have drawn the 3, so.
Boom.
Oh, and
There's
there's
the
the deal.
three, so deals in. Reaching Dora. No aura, but
Zach
Tommy
was
does get the
Zach was
3600.
aggressively fighting for his hand with Sal's, but got some tiles around the door and ended up getting hurt for it. 2600, really not the worst thing in the world, though.
Yeah, shut
What
down a
I've-
dealer turn, move a game to South 2. Not a bad outcome, ultimately.
Yeah, I've definitely had many situations over my time playing this game where I was like, if I could pay to move the game along right now, I would.
And we have dealer here with the East pair. Could call for just the Yakuhai, but no other value that I'm really seeing in this hand. On the,
The
right,
value is conning the 1-mon.
I mean, that would do it, unless it's one of my cons, and then I'd miss
Yeah.
everything because I always do.
You con and then flip the 2-mon as the indicator. It's like, oh, well, great. I just made this completely useless to me.
Yeah. On the right, we see a Pinfu type hand. Decent, great shapes, honestly. Across the way, Pinfu type hand as well. If you got the 9-mon, but it's Dora. Otherwise, you're just going pro. Well, go Tanya, but with 9-mon being Dora, you're definitely keeping that in the hand. And on the left, definitely a Pinfu type hand, but needs some shifting to actually get the Pinfu.
Ooh, now Sam found the value for this hand. It's is Dora Tanki.
Oh, yep. Actually, I'm fine with that. Well, there's one of them. Does end up cutting the 9-mon Dora to not even necessarily secure the Tynak. You can still accept one pin with this. And then I feel
Yeah,
like
I think
a really bad backfire.
choosing to
Boom.
hedge instead of the 2-3-4, the 3-4-5 Sancho, but definitely now just confirming that it's Tanya. Taking
Yeah,
the
I
Nomi.
think if you've made that play, you have to call the
Yeet.
Tuso there.
Yep, I agree. Oh, that's gonna be the
And
Ricci.
there's a Tempai on the right, Ricci Nomi, waiting
This
on
if-
3-6-mon.
Yeah, and that 3-mon is quite loose in Tommy's hand. Though the 3-pin does look at least somewhat safer.
3-mon looks pretty safe against that hand.
Yeah, I think the 3-pin looks safer than the 3-mon. However, I think both are reasonable tiles to cut. Nope, just decides to play the 4-pin Genbutsu. I'm gonna try to fold out. Doesn't see the point in taking any risk when it's Sam who's feeling the pressure here as the last place in the dealer. I don't necessarily disagree with. I think I like this fold from Tommy. You have no value. You see one of the Dora, and it's the one that you cut. And any deal in is probably going to send you into 4th place. For the season, Tommy's hovering right at that ±0 line, sitting at +17 now after last game.
Now, dealer here is trying to work forward, but it just moved a lot sideways. So there's a Dora dump. So that's a very aggressive push there on
the
the
Dora
right.
coming out, the Sotogawa, and the one chance of a 7-mon. I mean, it worked. When you're right. Oh wait, no, it was Kabe. It was Kabe. 7-mon's Kabe, I think, right? Am I blind?
7-mon's Genbutsu,
No, I mean I'm
but
trying
it
to.
was the 9-mon.
Yeah. No, but yeah, he sees all 4 of the 7-mon, which is probably what lent the 9-mon to feel pushable, despite being Dora. Only deals into a 1-cut Shavo or Cheetoy.
Also, one of the reasons I'm notorious for waiting on Doratanki is this will happen.
Yes, I mean I've won many Doratankis. It's a very fun feeling. Then I also got absolutely like hard bopped one time. I dealt into like 8K in the 3rd row after being Tempai for Doratanki for like 10, 12
We have
turns.
Tempai on the right. Ricci, Pinfu, Tanya won't
Chi.
take the Ricci because this is
Yeah.
Genbutsu.
Yeah, and there's only 3 tiles left. Only have 1 draw left. Just don't really feel like the 1,000 points will make much of a difference.
Well, in first place, I think that's a huge part of it.
Yes. Being in
If
first
you're not
place
in
is a big
first, I
deal,
think
yeah.
it's a hard Ricci. It's an easy Ricci, shall I say?
Yes, because you're
It's
still
hard
most
not to
likely going
press
to
the
end up
button.
positive
Right.
points.
This is what's going to happen a lot of the time. Instead, we
Yeah.
get the 1,500 on the right and a net of 500 on the left. I move to South 3.
And Tommy doesn't quite end up getting back to his Tempai. He did give it a little bit of an effort at the end there. Had Nishanten with a tile that I think he was willing to push, but just didn't quite get the callable tile or the draw for it. But he's pretty okay with this. Sam now no longer has a deal, and he is still ahead of him by 2,300 points.
Now, Zach here is dealer here in South 3, has a whole bunch of options with this hand, which is another way of saying I'm not sure which one you're going to take.
Yeah,
Maybe an
the
Apeco, maybe
options.
a Cheetoy. They're just getting worse and worse with every draw, honestly.
Yeah, it's just pray to draw the Hatsu or the Chun and hope for the best.
On the
Tupin's
right,
also
though,
quite a good
double
draw.
south, Sanshuku, Dora looking pretty good.
Yes, and immediately cuts the
Chi.
7-mon, trying to lock that in. The Haku and the Hatsu, I think, are going to kind of end up being dead weight in this hand, so the
Yeah,
7-mon
I
might have
definitely get
been.
rid of those first. Well, the thing is with that 7, you could always upgrade to
Oh,
Apeco on top of everything else. And now
there's
you
the
have 2
second
Dora, and
Dora.
you definitely wish you still had that 7 Mon. But across the way, you
Yeah,
see the Chi there for what will most likely be open Tanyao. Also has a
Tanya
bunch
with
of
one
dead weight,
Dora.
including that South, which is going to come out.
Yep.
On the left, though, that is already Ishan 10 for Richi, possibly Pinfu, possibly Dora.
Yeah, there's definitely a potential here to just also play the 1-2 penchant and just look for a better shape. But I think from the score situation, if you're Sam, you'd absolutely take the Ricci as soon as you get it. Did play the 8-pin, trying to have more worlds where he can
Boom.
get the Dora weights or even just the Dora draw to Tempai. However, that does cost him a little bit of his
South.
array. Ooh, is this going to be a 1-2 mon cut? I think it could be.
See, this is
Yes.
where I feel if you still had the 8-pin in that hand, it'd be so much better.
Yes.
Oh, that is not Tempai, not quite. If you
Not
kept that
quite.
7 mon earlier, it would be.
And that would have been the Ipatsu deal. What? Such as
Oh,
Chi.
like
that's an
this
easy
is oh
call. The
yeah,
question is
easy
which way. Now, this
chi.
is such a hard. Okay, goes for the 3900. This will not be enough to get over. Oh yeah, well
It, it is, it
with the
is
tiles
just
in the middle, it
barely.
would be.
Yep.
Otherwise, I really don't like the
I
play.
I think I would have pawned that. I'm
I
just
would have
taking.
pawned it as well.
Yep, I
8
like
so
the
looks
Mongon.
so cheap on this
The
board for
Mongon looks
everyone.
so good. It would have been quite funny to see the 7-pin cut, and then you get the Shavo on the side. You just cheat. Zach, meanwhile, has found his way to an icy Shanten for Pin Fedora 1 after all of that trash that was in his hand at the start. However, it is going to be a risky / aggressive path that he has to take to get there. Forso never helps.
Yeah, you could call it for temp. I wouldn't have a Yaku, so you can't really go that direction.
Interesting. All right, Sam playing the Forso, maybe feeling that he's starting to feel
Sumo.
Just
outspent here.
sumo.
Yep, there's the Sumo. So now Sam is in
Oh,
the
the Sanshiku, of course.
Oh,
Yeah, we
right.
talked about it earlier. Then we thought he'd gotten away from it. But no, he's just been walking it and trying to get everything in there. Gets the Mongon anyway. It's now only 100 points back in South 4.
Yeah, this is where I start like lamenting the Agariyame rules if I'm Tommy. It's like just let me win a hand and go home with this.
Yeah, I hate being South 4 dealer for
Oh, it
this
is the
reason.
worst. It is so bad. It's like it's not like you lose the chance to run it up on your deal. You just don't do it at the end of the game when everyone's incentivized to end the game as quickly as possible.
Right, but instead, still has a pretty good starting in here. Ricci, Pinfu, Tanyao, Ipeco, Dora 2 potentially. Well, not Dora
Yes.
2, like, well, maybe, I
Yeah,
guess.
potential Dora too. Definitely love that 8-so draw for him.
On the right, looks like a Pinfu type hand there as well. Really need the 8 pin to come in. Could also go for a distant Itsu and kind of
Yeah,
keeping that
I
option open with the
really like that
4 monk
four-mon
cut.
cut. I really like the four-mon cut there. Holding the Dora around, keeping the 4-pin around, looking to just find another Rihanna, and immediately gets rewarded for it.
5 is very tempting.
Now,
Just sell
now you
out
have,
on it.
yeah, I think
Gets
now
rid of the
you.
Dora now and just going for the Itsu.
I like the Dora cut there. I think it's the choice between holding the Dora and holding the 7-9 pin.
I almost feel if you're going to do that, maybe you cut the west pair from that 3-4-4 shape. But
That
regardless,
seems a bit preemptive because you don't really have like another block.
there are some Sanchiku shifts in here as well if you're gonna go this way.
Yeah,
But we'll see. Across the way,
you don't really need it though. You just need the Ricci. I mean, Ricci Itsu is enough, right? Oh, Ricci Itsu's enough for a
Michi
tie.
Itsu.
Or wait, no, it ties Tommy.
Let's see. 52 would be 30. No, it's not. That's good enough
Is
because
it?
it's going to be 52.
Oh, yeah, I can't do math. I was thinking that 8 plus 2 is 6.
Anyway, across the way, looking towards Wood 3 Sanchiku, also potential Tanyao, and on the left, going for a Sanchiku with the 5-6-7.
Chi.
I have an English degree, all right. uh, Not that it gets used, but like I definitely do not have a math degree. Is the point of
Ooh,
that?
well, okay. Lots of options here. I
7、
think I like cutting the 9 pin a little bit more, but cutting the 4 is fine
I
as
think
well.
I think the Forso is fine because you have quite
Oh, there's our Tempai on the right. This is Itsunomi waiting on
Itsunomi,
2-5
but
Mon.
getting over 30K is quite
There it
important.
4、
is.
Yeah, that's gonna be quite rough for Sam. That's gonna be another one of those games where just like everyone's stuck over 30K right at the end, and one person just kind of got left behind. Minus
Uh,
30. That's such a bad
yeah,
feeling.
big winner here is Zach with another gigantic win at 19.7.
Well,
These games
gigantic
have
is
not
a
been blowouts. These have been
yeah.
everyone struggling around 30K. Tommy
Gigantic might
with
not be the word for it.
9.6, Leon with 0.8, and as mentioned earlier, Sam taking the 30.1 hit here.
Yeah,
And standings have now been updated.
if you told me I was if I'm Zach and you told me I was gonna go 1-1 tonight and only get plus 40, I'd be a little bit miffed.
Oh, I would too. I've been in those games. They're not fun. It's like, yay, at first. Oh, I've had seconds better than this. A lot of seconds better than this.
Yeah. Okay, well that is let's see, that is our two games with this table. We have a lot of games currently in progress. I believe you had mentioned wanting to hop over to B39. This is not a group that we've seen play much, and they were the ones that started most recently, besides the A1 table. Let's be
Right.
honest.
And
Uh,
yeah, the
we're
A1
we're we're
table
tired of
honestly isn't as exciting as we'd like.
we're also a little bit tired of watching our own players.
Yeah, but let's jump over to B39. This is Jessa, Kevin, Honley, and Irie.
Yep, I watched Steve play enough mahjong. Ugh. Yeah, this is going to be it's a very interesting B3 table. As I know, Hanley is one of those players that joined the league late. An experienced PML player. He's entered and had a decent showing at both the past two PML opens. He also went out to karaoke with us Saturday night. It was a very fun time. Was glad I got to interact with him. Irie is familiar to some. It's just with her for her stream presence.
Yeah,
Jessa was the
VTuber.
Yep, Jessa was the overall winner for the US IORMC qualifiers, posting an absolutely
Absolutely
absurd
dominant.
plus
Oh, was it?
267, I think it was.
Yeah, it was something like that. They were like, wow.
Yes, and
Definitely
unfortunately,
capable of just going off.
yeah, and unfortunately, Kevin is not someone who I've had the chance to become familiar with just yet. But it's always nice to just see more people playing mahjong. Hopefully, I will get to meet them as well at some point. Anyway, looks like we're hopping into this game in South 1. Have Hanley in a slight lead over Irie to our right. Jessa up top has called twice, has at least two Han, and is aiming to get back over 30K. And then Kevin on our left is in a very fightable fourth place and has a Dora floating in hand.
Was that an error, or I think we might want to refresh?
I think there was a brief error, but I think it's fixed itself.
Okay.
Yeah, and looking at Nathaniel has highlighted the standings for us. It looks like none of these players is having that good of a go of it at B3. But again, like we mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, with so many people, like turnover being what it is, sometimes it's like sometimes you try the league and it's not for you. Sometimes life things come up and you have to take a hiatus. There are a lot more promotion slots up for grabs than that 7. So all these players can definitely be playing for the plus minus 0 that could potentially earn a promotion slot if the number of league-wide dropouts and hiatuses hits a big enough number. Because that trickles down
Right. The
all the
big
way, and
key is
B3 is
it
going to be the
does, yeah.
best. Yeah, it trickles down all the way, so B3 will be the biggest beneficiary.
Last season we had people going up all the way from I think around minus 30 because there was so much turnover, which will happen.
Yeah.
Oh, and I did
Yeah.
check. Yeah, there is an error across the table. Jessa does not have 14 tiles in the hand. That was a duplicate 5 Montano got, so a refresh would probably good at some point.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even count. Yep, and so if we could refresh Nathaniel's so Justice Hand is no longer illegal. We found a way to Chombo and Tenho.
Only on viewership. It'll show up fine in the game. This is something that occasionally happen on streams, though. Oh, okay, and we have dealer
7、
here. who is just kind of trying to put it together, and he's just not budging. Wanted to go
Yeah.
Chitoy, and
Oh,
now got to an
there's
Ishanten
the
for the
potential
Chitoy,
Cheetoy.
but that
However, I
5/8
feel
could
like
deal in.
most, yeah,
Okay, yeah,
any and
he's
all
giving it
Cheetoy
up.
pushes there are probably going to deal in, and Bonzu look very, very suspicious into Jessa. I'm not necessarily like fully convinced that it's a Honitsu, just because of the way the hand was played, but like when you see 3 calls in a suit, it's silly to dismiss it.
4
There's the deal in, and you go, oh, 2,000? I guess that's okay.
I'm okay with that. That is not what I expected with deal in, and 2,000 points is cheaper than I thought it would be. So you know what? Fair play.
Dealer here is Irie starts with a great starting hitter. This starts with
Yep.
Ishanten for
Already
Richi
Shanten,
Pinfu.
definitely Richie
Maybe even
Pinfu.
three-sided weight on the right. That feels like a Honitsu handle. You do have a one-pin Dora,
Ooh,
Shaw Anko, all sorts of options. Ooh,
that
that gives you a
3-so's an
ton of
interesting
choices.
draw. I think I do like the 1-so cut here. It's not like I don't think it's strictly the most efficient, but this hand could definitely potentially have Tanyao
It's
involved.
not, but I think it gives the most good weights.
Yes. And then if you draw 4-so all of a sudden you're also quite happy. Or even like
Nice little
6-pin.
Pico
6-pin
Tano
now.
upgrade.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
6-pin is
six
also a
pin would be
fantastic
pretty
draw.
good as well. On the across the way, a pair, but of Dora, but not much else really. Like you want to figure out a way to call, and I'm just not seeing it. Maybe a very, very, very distant 456 Sanshoku,
Yeah,
but
there's
just not
there's
as
the
fast. And
1-so
then on
pairing
the
up for
left,
Kevin. So maybe we
on
see
the
the
left,
Joker come
however,
out.
that is a really good hand.
Yeah, I like that a
Ishanten
lot.
for Hatsu and probably Reach
Oh,
if you can get it.
and he gets the Suji trap. Okay, so now this is the awkward part of the way this hand was played. Throws it back. Throws back the 5-so. But not
I'm fine with
necessarily
throwing
him.
that back. Well,
Yeah, I
no,
think
actually,
the other
your other
plays, I
option is
think.
cutting 6/9 pin and just going Tanya, basically selling out for the 4-so. But I think that's too far away.
Yeah, or I mean, you could even play 7-pin first, then 9-pin. But or you could. The other option I think would be play 2-3-so, but that doesn't really accomplish anything.
Nah, if anything, I feel you're losing value going that direction. So I'm fine with
Yep.
those was played.
Yep.
1
Yeah. Hanley. Oh, Hanley decides
Uh,
to open the hand, which
okay, it says
this
forget it.
is
I'll take our
the
value in first. Not
yeah, this
worried
is the
about
I'm in
much.
first place. That 3-pin draw is interesting, but just gonna play for the time for the pin for now. I'm not trying to do anything fancy with the potential furry 10 in the Sozu shape.
Well, that
Looking for
nine
just the
so's
widest
kind of
acceptance.
floating out in Kevin's hand, so it may come out.
Yeah, it kind of just depends what he draws though, because now he's cut his way to headless. So if he can find the 9-so or a 6-so, then all of a sudden that 9-so kind of has a purpose. Maybe looking to even do like a Sanshoku in the with 1, 2, 3. It feels like that has to be what he's aiming for, given that he's cut both a pair of 1-pin and a pair of 1-so. Oh, Conte?
I think you can. The
I
only
don't think.
reason it's not in first. So this is
Yeah.
one where I'd look at the standings, and because I'm sitting at minus 136.1, I'd absolutely con.
Yeah, you just start making variance plays like that. But at the same time, like losing this first place would feel quite bad. And this has the potential to be a 3-down first place for the extra plus 20. Especially because
Oh,
he's
there's the
currently.
backfire on the one. That would have been your Ipeco.
Yeah, but that's so
Well,
far
there's your
away.
other
Yep.
9. It does fit into this hand. You're almost looking at that pawn and going, I wish I'd have got G-Toy.
Yeah.
4
Oh, it comes out
There it
actually.
goes.
Yeah. Only
You get
1,300
the
points.
extra
However,
foo.
Hanley gets exactly what he wanted here, and that is skipping Irie's deal. It took a little bit longer probably than he felt like it should have with a hand that good, but it got there.
Now I have Jessa here with a Pinfu
Boom.
type hand, maybe a 789
Hello,
Sanchoku.
Kevin.
Oh, what about Daisamgen? I hear it's
1
worth a lot.
Oh,
But that's
hello,
not even the most
Richie.
exciting hand on the board.
Richie
From across the
Pinfudora.
way,
I mean, all of these
Reachy
dragons are
Pinfudora. It
live.
is not double Reachy. It is
It is
important to note
not.
this is not double Reach because there was a discard and it was called.
Yes. Oh, hello. Only. Oh, okay. Yep. I mean, the East is definitely like the makes sense play. 8-so will probably come out next. I think you kind of have to force this Daisangan if you're
Boom.
Kevin.
Yeah, well, now you have to. I don't see any way around it. I'm cutting 8-so here every time. It's Suji. Why
Absolutely.
not?
Yeah, absolutely 8-so every time. The issue is that If you
That
draw the
Foremon's
Chun,
eventually going to deal in.
if you
I
draw the
think this is going
Chun,
to
it's gonna.
end.
Oh,
Oh
it's gonna
no! I
be
think you have to.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
okay. Oh, it's
okay.
Genbutsu. It's Genbutsu. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
if you draw
I
the
don't know. I
Chun,
just
it's
still
so
push the 6
tempting.
on.
It's so tempting to at least like hedge the Honitsu Toy Shosangen. If you draw. Oh, there's the 7-mon. Oh, but that's the Tenpai.
Wow!
How greedy are
You
you?
have to go for the goods, don't you?
I love 8-bit. Yes, let's go.
Yes!
Harley has got to be sweating up a storm right now. It's like, I reached on turn 2. I don't deserve this. All 3
Even
tunes
the
are in the wall.
Shosangen would be disappointing, but you'll take it.
Oh,
I think you just have
okay.
to take the Tenpai. It's
Mangan.
Mangan.
Yeah, the Mangan gets you over 30k. It's all right. I like it. I like it.
Full sellout. That is a play to climb the standings.
The thing is, he's actually the one who's in the best situation here. He's only minus 47, so like only, you know. But like
This gets you over
the Mangan
30K
is
if you
the
get the
Mangan's a
Shosangen.
huge deal here. All 3 of these chins are still in the wall.
Yeah, you can't possibly expect they'll all be in the wall. You have to figure that at least one and probably 2 of the others are stuck in these 2 hands. They're
I don't know,
obviously
man.
folding.
I see Chun. I believe in it.
I see Chun. I don't believe in it. I've been burned by Yakuman far too many times.
Dude, this is why I won the Daisangan in this league. All right. Oh no. I mean, there's no way that the 4-mon ever comes out here, but what? No.
Oh.
Oh.
Going for the Honitsu Shosangen play, I guess. I think you just push the
Maybe.
4-pin. It's not that
Yeah.
much worse than the 7 anyway.
Yeah, it really isn't. I mean, the 1-pin I guess hasn't come out, or did they come out post Ricci? I don't even remember.
Yes, it came out post Ricci.
Okay, 7-pin.
Well, now the 7
Yeah,
save
we're back.
doesn't
We're
matter.
back. It didn't matter. You just have to know. Come on, this Chun has to get drawn.
Chun. Oh.
Draw the
I
Chun.
genuinely felt that was going to be it.
It has to be here. And now I think you just 6-mon and you're willing to. No!
Oh.
No! What is the point of all of this?
Oh, this hurts.
What was the point of all of this?
Dream value.
The Chun's absolutely getting drawn right now.
Oh yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's
Tenpai.
Tenpai.
Oh, Holly's in chat saying F. Oh no. Oh, there's okay. Well, no,
There's the Mangan.
Yeah, that would have been the Shosangen. That would have been the Shosangen. And now, there's the 3rd Chun.
Yeah,
and
now
all of a
it's
sudden,
safe.
like,
So the dream is now
Sumo.
dead.
oh, there's the
And there's the
finally.
Sumo on top of it. Ricci Sumo Pinfudora.
That's a lot of like.
That's such a that's a huge swing there. Instead of winning the direct 8,000, ends up
that's
having
a
to pay
lot
out
of really
13.
bad tiles that would have had to get cut, but like at a certain the tiles that were cut really weren't much better.
Oh,
sad. But Honitsu.
Honitsu? You mean Chinitsu? Itsu Chinitsu even.
Yeah. Also, Hanley has a hand that probably wants to go burr.
Yeah, right. That's also a Honitsu with a Dora and Haku for Mangan across the way. Chun pair. Great shapes in pin. Maybe even toy upgrades. I like the Chi. That's I don't care. We're going for it.
Yeah, I like
rewarded immediately for it.
I like the Adazuka here a lot. Just take your positive second and get out.
On the left, probably Pinfu hand, but just feels way slower than every other hand.
Yeah, you have to be. Oh, well, this should not be a con. It should absolutely never be a con.
This genuinely shouldn't be a con. But again, just look at the standings. I probably would if I were in that situation.
So the only thing here is that actually a con does make him have more sumo outs to knock Irie below 30k.
It is true.
So I think that's actually important enough that I might have done it, and also because it's funny.
That's the main reason.
That's the entire reason I play Mahjong, is to do things that I think are funny.
Now that upgrades the Ishanten shape. May even get to a Honitsu here on the right for Hanley. On the left, ooh, that's a big draw, but that 4-mon is feeling very loose now.
Yeah, the 4-mon's also the only head at the moment, though. So just draw another one. You're good.
Problem is, if you
Furries
end
and
up with that, yeah,
Novaton.
that 2-5
Oh
would be
wait,
really
no, but
bad.
what about 567 Sanchoku?
Dora Tonki.
567 Sanchoku. Okay, no.
1
I think I ought to cut 2-pin there and just said, forget it, Dora Tonki. Let's go.
Yeah. Maybe it all works out. Who knows? Oh, well, the chi happened, so that the draw order would have changed. It's hard to tell yourself that in the moment.
Oh, okay. Good dodge
Sanchoku.
there.
Oh, well, actually, she would have drawn the 6-0 either way because Kevin just drew it. And Hanley is
Oh, I
Ah!
don't know which one's going to get kept, but it has to, yeah.
4
yeah. Play towards the 567
Just the
Sanchoku.
1,000.
But that's 1,000 that saves you 5,000.
But
That's
the
gonna be
winner
the end of
here
this
is going
game.
to be Hanley with 27.7. In second is Irie with 6.6. Jessa with minus 10.2. And Kevin with the minus 24.1.
Yep. We only did get to catch the back half of that game, but it looks like their second game has not started yet. But I'm down to stick around and watch a full game of this table if it looks like they are playing again. I can shoot Hanley a
Don't
message.
see
Let me
them
just
at all yet. So
Safari
if
guy.
not, we'll jump out. But first, we're going to check and make sure that there is not going to be another game in this table
Yeah,
played.
I'm gonna shoot him a DM or Hanley a DM. Who's the person that I've interacted the most with at this table? Okay, he says they are about to start.
Okay, well, that means at minimum it'll be 5 minutes. So I guess we'll
Oh,
take a
yep, and
break then.
Irie's in chat also saying there will be another. Hi, Irie. All right, let's see. Around the league, just kind of scrolling through results. It looks like Luce won the first A1 game, so her absurd lead gets even larger.
Yeah, that's the real reason we didn't jump to A1 is honestly, at this point, Luce is 150 points clear of second place. It is possible to lose the league championship from that point, but suffice to say, that is a heavy favorite. Luce has just been dominant.
Second place is going to be losing some points tomorrow, right, Korak?
I sure hope so.
Please, we need the points.
Well, as I said in chat earlier, I was feeling fine until someone hit a Rinshawn into Condor 4 or a 4 on my dealer turn in South 4.
Sounds fun. Let's see. Where else? Like other results around the league, Andrew R added to his similarly
Okay, the game
absurd
has now
lead.
started, so we'll be
Yep.
live in about 4 minutes.
Yeah, Andrew R picked up another first, added to his similarly absurd lead in B1. He's very, very safe with the promotion this coming season. What else have we seen happen? Josh R, let's go. Won the second game of that table. Actually took 30 points away from Andrew R. And Matthias and Patrick were also negative in that game. So we got the full plus 20 for Josh R, who's I believe sitting right on the cut or the promotion line for B1. Always a little bit biased towards my locals. Yeah, he is currently 7th and 40 points down to 5th, but with a couple of A2 hiatuses, I think that's enough right now.
Yeah, I think there are going to be a bunch of promotions out of B1. There are guaranteed 3 people that are going to take hiatuses. We don't know if there's any league turnover because of any actual withdrawals from league, because that would give potential bias
It's
towards
always
actual table play.
Yes, though
So
it's usually the withdrawals that are not coming from once you get up to A2.
right.
You just kind of take a season off and play wait and see.
Yeah, as of right now, Sarah would be above the cut at 21.3 because there are 3
Yes.
guaranteed extra expansions, so
Which
long as everyone in B1 looking for those.
funnily enough, that 8th place plus 21.3 is higher than the actual promotion line in A2, which is 5th place at plus 9 because of
Who has
how
been
many.
everyone beating up on each other, and then Haru and Claire just sitting there laughing at them.
Yep, and they even like nicely just kind of gave points back and forth when they played together. Like they both ended up quite positive, and I believe Dustin was the one who caught the negative end of that, who was sitting right below the cut line.
We just had a game come in from A2, and Philip was the big winner with 33.9, and he desperately needed that. Haru ended up 4th place, but even a
It really
minus
just doesn't matter.
20.7 at that point doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah,
obviously, a minus 60 will, but minus 20, you're fine.
yeah. Who would take a minus 60? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
But no, Philip does
Only
get
done it
into the
twice.
5th spot now at plus 13.8, and that is good
I,
enough for a
I hate
promotion
that
if
sentence,
things were
man.
ending.
We had demotions out of A1 with close to that score.
God, that first season, we're still all salty about it.
Yep.
Where
I
I
don't think
ended up being
anyone's.
the bottom one to qualify, and my score was, I believe, plus point 0.8.
Yeah,
So
I
if
don't.
you did not get 0, you were demoted. It was a
Yeah, I
ridiculous
don't think
season.
anyone is saltier or like should be saltier about that than Dustin. But such is life. He's very much in play to promote back this season. Only 13 points down at the cut line. I had a very nice last game after I took a break that saved me from that hell.
Well, the
So,
game should be starting any minute now, so let's get switched over.
yep. Alrighty. Yep. All right. It looks like it's gonna be Kevin here. Our first deal starting in the next minute or so. Jess on our right. Jessa, my bad. Conley to across the way, and Irie's gonna be our last dealer. Can you read, Korak? Do you know what Irie's name says?
Nope, I'm illiterate.
Yeah, same. I keep trying to be. It's just like I'm just not a. I'm so bad at like keeping to a schedule for anything.
Yeah, discipline shows up on my Mahjong. They don't have it. Shows up here. I don't have it.
Yeah, it's like I'm really good at keeping up with my Japanese study when I'm like also keeping up with working out because they just kind of go hand in hand in my brain as being part of a daily routine, and that just has not happened in quite some time.
Well, as you can see from the standings, these are all people that kind of struggled in B3. And a big part, you don't have anyone really running up the score on the wins, as the highest winning percentage is Hunley at 21%, which isn't bad, but the average 36.49 is kind of rough.
Yeah, he's just not getting the big hands together, and like it's not always your fault when you're yeah, it's not always your fault when your average win is like running a little bit lower. Sometimes your Dora share for the season is just not that good. Like, and
Or
it
you
just
don't hit
happens.
Oradora. Yeah, we've
Yeah,
both been in those seasons.
yeah, it's just like, and it happens. Like 24 games across the grand scheme of things is just not a whole lot of mahjong. It is like a good amount of mahjong. I think like the results are semi-consistent, but it's we just don't have the infrastructure, the people,
Boom.
or the time to play this like Japan, where they play hundreds of hanshan.
We have the game starting here. Kevin is in a pretty nice starting here. Richi Pinfu, Tanya, possibly Sanshku, Dora 2. On the right, we see the south pair, which is Yakuhai, a few other pairs. And across the way, the Haku has been called. Will likely just be one Han, but can accept the Forso Dora. And on the left, that is already a pretty nice Ishunten.
Yeah, I really like the Shantan on the right. It's putting the 3-pin and the 7, so that is
Well, there's your
it's
Tempai.
not really the tempo you wanted, but like you take it, I think.
Yeah, the 9 pin's a good enough weight.
There's no pin to upgrade. 3-pin's a good tile, so we're just gonna sumo it.
If that 9 pin were a 7 mon, I don't think I'd take the Tempai. But here, it's fine.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that because it's so early and there are so many upgrades. Like I would take the Tempai, but I would download and just try to wait because you have so many Ryanman upgrades like that.
That would have been a Riyaman upgrade.
It's
But even
fine.
so, is the 2.5 that much better than a 9 weight?
I don't think so on average, especially with an 8-pin coming out like on turn 2 from Jessa.
Now, we, of course, know that the 9s are both in the wall. You obviously
Yes.
don't when you're sitting there with the button, but
No, you have to
it's
believe.
good enough.
You have to believe. The 7-pin coming out is actually quite good because you can start
This
forming
is a
you can
one
start building a
chance
Kame.
for Kevin. It
Yeah.
could get pushed, and it
Yeah,
is.
I think as dealer here, this is a very justifiable push.
Yeah, I have a problem with this. With
There's
Ricci, Dora,
so little
and the
information.
Aura, but you have the
Ooh.
extra foo from the 1 pin Unko, and hitting the 9 is extra foo. That's all of a
Yep.
sudden a pretty good hand.
Yep, 6,400, definitely a little bit more expensive, I think, than I already expected that to be. But you know what? We take those.
Those are always so frustrating. Hitting the Oradora on the just Ricci Dora, get it from what you think is going to be a 2,600 hand
Yeah.
to a 52, but there's extra food there. So it
Yeah,
goes
I
all the way
know
to
yeah.
64.
I know like point wise it's not like the biggest, but I've always felt that the 240 to 340 on Ura is the most painful. Because I'm very okay with dealing into 2,600 or 3,900 if it's
Boom.
the dealer. All right, Irie is saying that her
Sure,
name
if
is Irene Jose, which I probably could have read at some point, maybe.
well, dealer here had a 1-2-3 Sanshoku. Now just going for probably the most open hand, but even a Tanya now with this 4-pin draw. On the right, definitely a pin 2 type hand. Possible upgrades to Sanshoku, but feels unlikely. Across the way, the south has been called that is not a Yaku, but definitely going for Chanta already. Ishanten for Chanta and potentially Hatsu. And on the left, a call to Chun, definitely going for the Honitsu.
Yeah, I really like this Honitsu push for Kevin. He really needs the points, especially after taking that unfortunate fourth the last game. And starting off this game with just not a
Oh, if you're Irie, I definitely got 5-pin here. I'm keeping the Chant. Oh, I don't think the 5 really does anything for this hand. I'm keeping the Chanta open and I'm keeping the Honetsu. Even if you draw a
Yeah.
4-pin, which is like your ideal draw, do you even care? You're gonna have a Yaku.
Yeah, but Honitsu.
Oh, doesn't matter. There's your Honitsu. It is Bakahon at this point.
Yeah,
But
you
you could just
absolutely
call the Hatsu and cut
you
either
absolutely
9
pull the
so or
Hatsu,
something
and then
else.
no, you play the 6-0, because then Chanta's still alive.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that a lot.
Yeah, you get the fun weight, and you have potential Chanta to upgrade into a Mangan. Oh, that is a fantastic
Sumo.
draw for Honley, or just Sumo.
There's your Sumo. Just Sumo. Dudes get the
But-
extra foo, and
but
I
the
will
furry
pull
thing.
in 2,700.
But the furry thing.
I mean, it's tempting, but not there.
Yeah, no,
It's
not
what
there.
you have to say. Oh, well, whatever. If it were an upgrade from 1 Honda 4, sure, but 2 with
Yeah.
extra foo, I think you just have to
Yeah,
take it.
Jessa loses her deal relatively cheaply, but is rewarded with quite a good hand on our left. Two
Now,
Dora,
first we
good
have
shapes, Tanya.
Hanley as dealer with a Tanyao Pinfu type hand. Does need the 7 Mon to really pull it together, though. Distant Sanjiku with a 4-5-6, but unlikely. On the right, you see a south pair that is
Yeah,
a
we have
Yaku.
south.
Could even just sell out for the Honitsu, but you have a Dora, so
Yeah, it's
probably
hard. It's hard
not.
when you have the Dora already in a shape, even a bad shape.
Across the way, maybe an Itsu in Mon. Decent shapes elsewhere. And on the left, as mentioned, a pretty good hand here for Ricci, Tanya, Dora 2 or 3.
Yeah, and there's gonna be the south coming out. Definitely gonna be trying. Irie's definitely gonna be trying to race this one to just south Dora 1. Ooh, good draw for Kevin. Doesn't really help the value, but it does get the hand moving.
Yeah, you just got the 2 so here. You're not like it's a great draw, but you're still looking at the hand and going, what do I do with this?
Yeah, but that's Shantan on the left for Jessa, looking for the 5-so, 7-pin, and 2-mon.
T.
I am kind of an opinion that if you draw the 3-mon, you just don't take the Tenpai. I think if you draw if I draw the 3-mon here, I just play 5-so.
I'd cut 5 so as well.
Because I am
You have
really
so
unhappy.
many
I'm really unhappy
upgrades.
with Tanya Dora here with like and
Oh,
also such
interesting
a
choice
poor
there
quality
on
weight.
the right for Irie. Could have gone the Chanta route. Instead, cut to
Yeah.
Rihanna, looking for the Shampon here.
Yeah, hedging the Honitsu, which I think is fine. The Honitsu is definitely like a little bit far,
Good
but like
Chi for Tempai on Itsu, waiting on 3 Mon, passes it.
yeah, the Itsunomi just doesn't really feel like a whole lot when you're already kind of in the whole
Just
essentially a
abandons
Mangan.
it altogether, cutting the 1 Mon.
Yep.
Pong.
Oh, there's the pawn.
There's our
This is gonna be
pawn
the
on the
Dora
left.
Chavo. Yeah, I like
Shampon with
this.
the 2 Mon 5 so. Dora 2
The
or
two
3
Mon
with
are
Tanya.
both held. However, there is a world where Kevin hits Tenpai and the Dora is not involved now that he's cut the 1-Mon.
And dealer makes a Chi here for Ishanten for Tanyao.
Yep.
No.
Oh,
There's
goes
the Dora, and it comes right out. Tanya Dora 3. Huge win there for Jessa.
Not the punish you wanted to see if you're Kevin. That's really not a hole. That's a tough hole to dig yourself out of. This
Yeah,
game's
that would
already
hurt.
almost
Now
half
you're
over.
at 15,000. Irie's dealer here has the Hatsu pair, a few other pairs, but I think it's just a call and go hand. It's hard to see any other
Yeah.
value here. On
Call
the
and
right,
Hatsu,
now
maybe
that
a
on the
draw
other hand
west.
has a lot of value. Ricci Pinfu, well, it's Ishanten for Ricci Pinfu Ipeiko right now. If you draw 4, so you could upgrade to Tanyao. Across the
Yeah,
way,
one
it
to
is a
draw is really
Pinfu
sad
type
there.
hand. But you have that Shaw Dora. It is your Yakuhai, but with only one of them, it's not particularly useful. The question is, can you get any value? And it's going to be hard to do so. Maybe even be Ricci Nomi. And on the left,
Hatsu just comes out here. Honestly, I think I just kind of
Pong.
hold the west until I'm Tenpai. Though now with the
on the
dealer,
left, definitely feels like
pawning, it's iffy to cut the West at any point. Because what do you do if you cut the West right now and it gets pawned? Like, what do you do besides cry?
Now there goes the West. It gets dumped. Yeah, hand on the left isn't bad either with a potential Rishi Binfu Tanyo Sanshuku.
Oh yeah, that is Ryan Shanten. Looking for obviously you'd prefer the 679 or 679, 678 Sanshoku, but the 789 Sanshoku is definitely significantly more consistent to be able to win.
Either's fine. It's very much a let the draws make your decision.
Yes.
Don't choose it yourself.
Just give me the Sanshoku, please. I'm not asking for much. Just 3 consecutive perfect draws.
That's the 5.
Eats.
Keeps the awkward shape in so, probably trying to hedge the Honitsu, but there's our template on the right for Richi Binfu. 3-sided 1-4-7. Now, unfortunately, that 4 pin's kind of floating out on the left for Hanley. May come out.
Yeah, and it's also this 1 pin's also quite loose in Irie's hand if she decides to push. But I don't.
I think you
there's
have
really...
to push the 4 now. The 4 or the 2.
Yeah.
Like, you have to push with that hand.
Oh no, but it's
Okay,
gonna
doesn't.
be the Suji. I guess it is last place Rigi. So he's might just be thinking like, okay, honestly, he doesn't really need to commit to this hand.
Boom.
Yeah,
Draws
there's
the
one
one, discards the one, figures the first one past the second will, but the first doesn't, and the aura punish, which I guess is
Yeah,
the
it's
second
not
one
it's
we've
not that
seen.
significant, but it does knock her out of first place.
Yeah, we are now in South 1. Dealer will be Kevin.
Yeah, I think if you're Hanley there, like you're pretty okay with just letting last place Richie do its thing and trying to find a better angle to fight later on. Because you're
Yeah.
within like striking distance of the 2 players in front of you, and it's to your benefit if that sumo happens because you get closer to first place.
Yeah, I'd have pushed. I'd have dealt in, but hey.
I don't.
Regardless,
I probably would have as well. I'm just trying to explain the thought process.
We're in South 1. Kevin's last dealer turn has a floating Dora, but the rest of his hand's pretty good.
Yeah,
Question:
it's
can you
quite
turn into
difficult to use
Tanya? It's
that
very
Dora.
hard to do so with that North pair. But there's potential. On the right, we see the Hatsu Call, maybe even a Toy shift, but unlikely. Just take the Ishunten.
I think it's doable to turn this hand into a Tanya for Kevin. Just like you just have to draw anything around the 7th pin, and then
Well,
like you
now
play
there
the
goes the
Dora.
Dora. Yep,
Yeah, you
just
play
cut
the Dora, and then anything around the 7th pin, and you just play Pepe, and you have your Tanya.
You could take the Richinomi as dealer.
Yeah, but I mean, if you feel like 6 pin or 7 pin.
Ooh, now that's actually a great draw for me. I actually really like that draw.
I love this draw. Oh,
no, not the 3 bond. Cut the North. Go for the Tanyo.
Or even
Go
just play
for
the 7
glory.
Pin. Or even just play the 7 pin.
Yeah, you can get 7 pin as well.
Yeah. 7 pin hedge.
I think breaking up the
being
Onko
Tempai.
there and trying to turn into Pinfu isn't going to be nearly as valuable as going for the Tanyaoi Peiko upgrades. But regardless, we see a call there on the left going for potentially the Ochizuki looking for the south. And also has a floating Dora, maybe the Dora Tonki.
Yeah, the Dora Tonki actually feels quite viable here because the penchant is not particularly likely to fill, and even if it does, you don't have a Yaku confirmed.
Now, interesting thought. Do you cut the 8-9, you just keep the 2?
For what? Potential Honitsu?
Yeah, potential Honitsu. If you didn't have the 7-8, I'd definitely do it, as is. Well, it feels a little sad now.
But I mean, even then, I'm not necessarily sure how willing I am to
I don't know. If that's a
7-8,
6-8, so I think I'd sell out for the Honitsu.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I'll for sure take the Honitsu penchant over the non-Honitsu Kanchan. But the fact that it's a Ryanman,
that's kind of an awkward draw.
I think it's fine because now you just try to find.
You could end up with the Peiko and upper so.
Yeah, the awkward draw now is 5 mon.
Oh yeah, it'd be kind of. Oh well, there's the pair up on the Dora on the left.
And now all of a sudden this hand's like a nice 3-9 to get right back. Oh, and there's the So actually, I think the 5 mon draw is so awkwardly bad that 4 mon probably should come out last turn in favor of the 7 pin. Or like.
And there's the fill in. That would have been the Honitsu.
Yeah, but you know.
I don't blame that.
I mean, it's like it's Ryanman. Ryanman is good.
Yeah, but 7-8,
and you can honestly still make this a Honitsu. Like, I'm willing to pull Midora here, honestly, and take the Tonki.
Ooh, I don't know that I go that far. I like this weight a lot.
Dora Tonki though, or well, not Dora Tonki, but like Dora 3.
Yeah, random 7 so Tonki because you definitely want to win on the 8 with 2 of those out.
Is it 2 out? Oh yeah, I can't read.
ポン
That is gonna be Tenpai. Chooses the Shan pawn and avoids dealing
Oh,
in.
doesn't get rewarded. 6-0 could have come out there, but it's being held in large part because the upper still look terrifying against Diary's discards. And you're kind of wondering,
Yeah.
what's that call? Tempai for dealer here will take the 7-so Tonki.
And now can still get this pinfield. However, the 6-0 is
Oh,
completely dead, and the 9-0 is still 2 on the wall. Oh,
instinct for Jessa.
wow,
Okay, just
fold.
flat out folds. Could have pushed the
Sumo.
5 scared, and
And it
there's the
doesn't
sumo.
matter. This is like, so the sumo happened, but if you're Jessa, you like look at it, it's like, oh yeah, that feels good. I did not push the 6, so.
Would feel great there.
Oh yeah. It's so gratifying to immediately be told, yes, I folded correctly.
South 2, dealer has Chun pair and a floating Dora. Decent shapes elsewhere. On the right, a Haku pair and okay shapes elsewhere. And you need the 3 Mon to fill in. But you have that 1-4-7 so, which is always frustrating to see. Across the way, looks like a Pinfu type hand, but pretty far away. You have a couple around in there, though. 3 so would really help. And on the left, lots of options. You just go, you're thinking Itsu, but there are plenty of other directions. Six
Yeah,
Mon, great draw there for Jessa.
Yeah, it fills in a very very helpful shape and contributes later on down the hand as well if you can find any sort of Manzu. Contributes towards getting rid of that 4-6 Kanchan.
チ
There's the 9. Goes and calls for the Atazuki here.
Immediate
This
out
is
of
just
Zuke
Ishan
commit.
10. I think I'd pass that one,
I am the
but I
deal.
don't
Yeah,
hate
it's
the
like
call.
the A-class Ryanman is like if that was like not if that was a Tanyao call, I think I'd be more okay with it.
Right, because this kind of tells everyone, hey, I'm looking for probably a Tanya, especially that early Dora cut. You figure
Yeah.
everyone at this point has to suspect your hand is cheap.
Yeah, so it's like it's only really ever gonna be Sanshoku or Yakuhai. And now like you don't really have to like worry about the value of it either. Now the 9-so's come out as well, so like Sanshoku becomes less of an option. And plus the south and the east and the Hatsu have all already been cut. So it's like
A bunch of
there's really only
pairs
so
developing
many
on the
things
right.
this can be.
Hanley building towards potentially Suanko, but a long way to go still.
Yeah, I mean 3 pairs in the Nanko. We've seen crazier.
Oh, well,
There's the
there's our
Tenpai.
dealer Tempai.
The
Finishes
Chuns are both
the
still
shape.
alive, but it just remains to be seen whether or not
I mean,
whoever
I'm
draws it is respect like thinks the Jesso's Tenpai yet.
well, even if they do, are you that worried about a 1,500 deal in? It depends what your hand. Like
No.
the hand on the left for Kevin, I'd probably hold it. The rest of these, I'd probably push.
Yeah, and even Kevin has like a reasonable shot at like a 1-2 Risan Shoku.
We have an
Or
Ishan 10 on the
oh
right
Dora
for
2 now, I think you
Chitoy.
have to.
Yeah, now you'd be pushing.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like cutting the door there at all. If you're gonna cut
Pump.
that, cut the 3-pin instead.
Yeah, or just play the 1-so, I think.
Yeah, I'd
Oh,
cut the 1
Is
so
this
or
gonna
even
be
the 7
is this
so.
gonna yeah,
There it
Pump.
goes. There's 1,500. Does win it. And actually gets a direct hit, so kind of
Yeah.
important.
Yep, that does bring us to within 500 points, which is
Oh, wow.
and a
Look at that
very nice
dealer
high five.
hand.
Yup.
Ishan 10 already and tons of upgrades.
This could be another 3-pin 9x early Shabo. The last time
Yeah,
it
but
ended
I'm
up being
definitely keeping. Oh, I'm cutting 9 so
oh, 9
every
so, 9 so,
time
9 so,
here.
9 so.
9 so,
Oh, like
please.
6-0 Richi is also so tempting because
Yeah,
like
you could do that.
oh,
Oh, no, I don't like that one.
it may have just been misinterpreting the shape. It's hard
Yeah,
to
I
see
think that's that. That is a hard one to read if you haven't played as much as we have.
because you see the Richi button like sitting in your face, but it's not modestly, so you can't like click it and
Yeah, you
like
can't
have
click
it
it and
tell you.
back out.
Yeah. I saw a couple people do that in like the inaugural seasons where I saw two individual empty Richis, which was quite funny, but also just like, yes, you can't do that here.
A bit unfortunate there. Also has potential upgrades now, but going to be very
Yeah.
awkward to end on.
The 3-4-5 Sanshoku, potential Tanyao, like definitely lots of ways this hand could go, but yeah,
That's unfortunate. On the right, looks like a Honitsu Dora 2 type hand. Could just go Richi Dora 2, depending how it goes.
yeah.
Across the way, Pin
I think if you
Futai
get
shape, you have a couple extra pairs. So maybe
yeah.
change one of those
I
up. And
think
on the left,
now Now it's very difficult to make this a Honey-2, but you love the one-pin shot on Palm.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be nasty. And on the left, already Ishan 10 now. Great draw there with that 7. So
Oh, tries
trying to brute force the
decisive
Tanya
read this for
out of it.
Tanya.
I mean,
I
when
don't
you're
hate it
considering
from
your
this.
current
Yeah.
score, I don't hate it.
Oh, okay. 9 so now? Commit to Tanya?
Even the 4-10, I'd be fine with it at this point. You said
Ooh,
cut
okay.
the 6.
Yeah. I wonder what the 9 so is doing here. Oh, that's a fantastic draw towards this Tanya. Maybe the 9 so is just like they're still looking for the 9 so to be their weight. Ooh, great draw for Conley. Now moving towards that Honey 2 potentially, and after seeing the 2 1-pins cut, yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, also the hand on the left. Perfect. Ishunten Ranman
Yep,
with the
has
Yonko.
Itsu shots, has
Beach.
Oh, there's Tempai on the right. Ricci Dora 2 waiting on 4-7. So,
this would
and
be an
that 7
absolute,
making him out from Kevin.
yeah.
You're
Though
absolutely taking that as an entry, Ricci.
there are a lot of tempais that Kevin can hit though that do not cut that 7 so. And then all of a sudden Hanley's the one who's at a disadvantage. Alright, pushes the Sotagawa 8-mon. Not really a whole lot you can do here if you're Jessa besides just push. The only Genbutsu in hand is 4-mon. Nothing particularly looks good. So you might as well just fight. Oh, is that
Well, that's a Tempai.
that is
The 2
Senpai.
safe, I
2-mon
might
is
as well. I figure
Genbutsu.
I might as
Yeah.
well.
I think this is a chance to fight directly against the person closest to you and score. So this
Yeah, I
is
think
like
it's just hit the button and pray for Aura.
okay, so now the Tanyao is back and the 9 so does come out. That's what Jess decides to push as the that's gonna be rough.
Okay, well, would have dealt in if we hit the button. Deals in anyway, though.
Yeah. It's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. What you don't want to see here is the
Oh,
Uradora.
the Aura.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah. And now
Big
all of a
win
sudden
for
this is
Hanley,
a
though. This is within 1,100 points between first and third.
yeah, now all
Complete
of a sudden we
dogfight
have
now.
a Samba game.
Well, Kevin will try to work around that, but for now, we have Hanley as dealer with a whole bunch of pairs, even Sunshu Doko with a 2s, pairs in all suits. On the right, looks like a Pinfu type hand, really needs a 7-mon across the way. Feels like a Pinfu type hand, but the double Ryankon with 5, 7, 9 in 2 suits. And on the left, feels like a Pinfu hand, but a bit away.
One mon draw does help Kevin quite a bit in terms of like progressing the hand, but just like I guess Manzu Itsu, 3-4-5 Sanshoku, like it's when you start talking about 3-4-5 Sanshoku with Kevin's hand, it's like you're grasping at straws for any sort of
If you're
value.
looking at that, I'm thinking Itsu. That's
Yeah.
Kevin's best path.
Yeah, I would have held that Dora just because like
Yeah, I'm always holding
just
Dora there.
just in case. That 3-mon's quite a good draw
Even
for
with
Hanley.
one out, it's kind of awkward. Yeah, it's a great draw.
Hanley's very willing to open this for Tanya Nomi, I believe. Has progress to the hand on 3, 5, and 7-mon. Also has 4 pairs, and you could have been pulling this.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
pawn.
I
Yeah,
like
believing
the
in the
pawn.
Doko.
Tanya Nomi here
In
is quite
Doko, we
important.
trust.
I do like keeping the Doko. I would absolutely pawn the 2-mon if given the opportunity here.
I mean, the Tumon improves this hand shape a ton. I'd
Yeah.
absolutely pawn the same thing, even without the Doko.
I'm even like considering pawning the 4-mon.
Yeah,
if you pawn the-
4-mon would be sad, but it improves the shapes a lot.
Yeah, the 4. Oh, that's Senpai.
It is Tempai.
You still pawn the 2-mon, of course,
Oh, yeah.
and the 2-so.
Well, you
I
pawn the
don't.
2-mon and get your Ryanman Tempai, and then you pawn the 2-so and take the Tonki.
Yeah, I don't. I don't pawn the 4-mon anymore. Because I'd rather just keep the I'd rather
Yeah, I'd
keep
agree.
the Kanchan. But if you give me Doko Tenpai, I will take it, regardless of whether or not it is good. I like destroyed an entire hand at the PML tournament after my games like stopped mattering. I destroyed like an entire hand to force Doko Tenpai. I got there, then I didn't win.
Aw.
But hey, I've won like one IRL Doko in my life, and it was in tournament, and I killed Aaron's dealer Ricci for Doko Nomi. Oh
There's the shift. It's going to be very hard
Gee.
to make Doko from this now. It does improve the weight shape, though.
Yeah, and I guess, like, Coco's fun. Winning this game is probably more fun on average.
With it being this close, I can see it, but it's so sad.
Yeah, but Madoko. It's not like the weight is even that much better. Like, it's 4 tiles versus 3, and the 2-mon is, like, pretty good to come out, potentially.
Meanwhile,
But,
Irie's Tempai waiting on the Haku.
yes, this is actually a massive hand if Irie can pull it together.
Then you're in that fun situation as South 4 dealer in first without a big lead.
Yeah, but it's like you at least open up. You can pay out the Mangan Cavalry and stay ahead of Conley. The last thing you want is paying out a Cavalry in any of third. This is why South 4 dealer sucks in all Agariyame formats. It's so bad. Ishantan up
All
there
the
for
5
Kevin.
so is an option for Tanya shift. Doesn't take it, though.
Yep. Might have tried just because being Tempai is so important here.
Yeah, I think I would have taken that one.
Oh, that is Ishantan. It's like an upgrade. It's a better Ishantan for Kevin, but like none of these Ishantans is particularly
Is
good.
it? I don't like anything here.
Yeah. That could have been a chi as well. I think
Oh,
oh
well, that
no
doesn't deal
that
into
doesn't, yeah, it
anything.
doesn't deal in
Yeah,
anyway.
it's bright and orange, doesn't deal in. Well, there's the casual Dora Yeet, but you're not really worried about the 2-pin call.
Yeah, the 2-pin call, the only player you're scared of having the actual value has already cut it twice. That's the last over on the board.
ポン
You see that Hanley
There's
is
the
not a
palm.
believer in Sanso.
ズモ
And there's the
Oh, the
Sumo, the
Pong is
Haku.
Irie the Sumo. That's
And
a 1400
1100.
point swing. Oh, the 1400 point swing is actually quite unfortunate there because now she's only got 1900 points on Jessa. So cannot eat a Mangan Cavalry and still be in first place.
Has a south pair that is the Yaku High. Not much value for the rest of his hand, though. On the right, looks like a Pinfu with a loose Haku Dora. Across the way, feels like a Pinfu type hand. You have a bit too many pairs. And on the left, you have double wind Yaku. Double wind, but neither are Yaku High. Trying to figure out some
Yes,
sort
the
of way to
best
get
feeling.
value from it.
I mean, even just getting second place with Richinomi is 5,000 points. It's just a little bit disappointing.
I mean, honestly, these hands are all pretty bad.
They're all quite bad. I would say Irie's hand is probably the best, but like you're not particularly.
It's not the best because it's the best structured. It's the best because you can call some of these garbage shapes out of there.
Yeah, that's really the only reason. I like the she's the 1-2-3 mon. It doesn't
Give you
have
the
to be
potential
south.
Sancho upgrade. I call this
Yes, I
instantly.
agree.
Gee.
I
Call this
agree.
cut the 5-pin.
5-pin. Yep. I think this is
Yep. It's
perfect to
important
play.
not to cut the 3 because if you do draw 1 or 2, you have the
Yeah.
Sancho option. You're
Sanchoku,
not
I believe,
fully
is a
reliant on
more
the south.
yeah. Sanchoku is like a good fallback here because the South is not going to be consistent, especially when like Kevin on our right is very incentivized to try to find double South. One of the best value upgrades he can get. So Kevin's hand actually looks quite good. It's progressed quite nicely, and Jessa has 4 pairs and is making her way towards a Honitsu that would be enough points to overtake. Chitoi Nomi is not. Richi Chitoi is. Honitsu Nomi is. That's a great draw for Hanley as well.
Yeah, but it probably reaching Nomi. You want a little bit more value, especially if it comes out from someone else.
Richi Sumo is enough points for first place.
Yes,
I think
because they already
that's a
recovery.
pretty
You could.
yeah. I think that's a pretty big deal. Oh, this is a potentially Peiko upgrade.
Ooh, that's a fun one. Do you
I
dare
think.
cut something?
Ooh, I
That's
guess
a pretty greedy play.
it's early enough, I guess, but I like keeping the Ishan-10 around. I think I just play the 8.
Yeah,
I think I play the 8-mon because of the potential for E10 on the 3 so or 3-mon, and then
Fremont.
the
Yeah, if you draw the 4, well, even so,
oh,
3. Well, okay, now you don't have
this
to
is
worry about it.
yeah. So now, I think it still should be 8-mon, but now you can just try to move towards Pinfu even if you draw the
Right.
upgrade. You can just get Rishi Pinfu. Where are the Wests? The Wests are 1 cut, and the Easts are locked in Jess's hand. Yeah, I still would have liked to have the 6-0 in
Anya
hand.
Yushan on the right.
Yeah, it would be it could be a nice Richi Pinfu Tanyo. It's not a whole, that is a Brave Haku, but I don't think you have much choice.
I don't think a choice.
Because like you're
It's
within.
entirely possible that I were just sitting there waiting on it with the other two, but I think you just have to push
Yes,
here.
I agree. Especially because like she called so early and the Haku had already been cut.
Well,
Senpai.
Tempai now for Irie, waiting on that south.
There it is. South
Ooh,
is
now
still
possible
fully
upgrade to an
live.
Uteko, but I don't think you can take it with 3-so being 2 cut already.
Yeah, no, just believe. Oh wait, no, it's dead actually. It's the last one's in Irie's Chi. So I
You're
think
right, it's completely dead.
he's just missed the hopefully we don't see that backfire, but that just oh my god. That's
Oh
so bad.
no. Oh, that
This
hurts.
this is just kind of the kind of day that Kevin seems to be having,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I think Jester should cut 3-mon,
Oh,
3-mon
I
there.
mean,
Maybe go for
this
a
is
little
gonna.
more. Uh-oh.
Oh, maybe Hanley finds it in him to hold this back. Play 5-mon. Yeah,
Yeah,
play the 5-mon
for
hedge.
now. But if you
Is
get
West dead
Tempai, it
yet?
just has to
West.
come
Oh,
out.
the West is dead now, so we actually might see Hanley like just.
Doesn't matter. It comes out. This is
I
easy,
mean,
Richie.
yeah, but West is dead. All right, only 1,500. Like, and this is why being the last dealer sucks. Like, you
Yeah, you'd
worked
be
like
glad to be done with it
yeah,
here.
like you're Irie, like you worked so hard here for this like for 1,500 points. It's like, all right, do it again.
Well, with this hit, you'll be looking at a lot more than 1,500 points with the South Onko and a floating Dora and pretty good shapes elsewhere. An upgrade in the Mana as well. This is looking really good. On the right, it feels like a Pinfu type hand. Also, Tanya, potential Itsu and So, but unlikely. Across the way, Pinfu type hand really wants the 5-pin to come in and fill it. Then should be Ricci Pinfu most likely. You
Yeah,
want more value than
needs
that,
both a
but Ricci
5-pin and a
Pinfu
head.
would
I
be
mean, Ricci
okay.
Pinfu Ura isn't Ricci Pinfu Ura or Ricci Pinfu Sumo is enough points to take first place.
Yeah, and
I'm
that's all you're really
pretty
looking for
yeah,
here.
I'm
On the
pretty
left,
sure I'm
though,
Ricci
that's
Pinfu
a cheat
Sumo. I'm
toy.
not doing the math. Left,
That feels like a cheat toy.
yeah, it's only 3 pairs though, so it doesn't have to be.
No, it didn't have to, but that's definitely what you're hedging
Yeah,
towards with a hand like this.
if you can find the north, then pawning is pretty okay. You can at
Now,
least tie
normally
for
I don't like
second.
calling
Gee.
Class A round, but this is one where I would since you already have the Yonko in your hand.
Yes, and you have a Dora. And just like anything that you can do to apply pressure to the table is quite good here. Because like while people want to fight you, they also don't want to lose more points.
Especially if you hit another door or something, get a sumo, and then all of a sudden everyone's fighting to avoid the sub 30K drop. Ishunten, I believe, across the way. Yes, it is for Ricci Pinfu possible Dora. On the 5, there's your pair, so you're cutting the 6 or the 3 for sure here.
Yeah. I think I mean it's your head either way, so the 3-mon is Gembutsu already to one player and like marginally safer overall, so I think holding it is fine. No real reason to keep this shape. No need to try to get
Yeet.
fancy and try to snipe
Tempai
out
on
a
the
2-mon.
right, it is.
So if I'm Irie, I'm very okay with this.
Yeah,
I
Ricci,
don't.
Tanya.
You have the 3-mon Gembutsu, and 2, like nothing that happens here can take your first place unless you deal it.
Hanuman Sumo, it doesn't matter to you.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean, sure, it'd be annoying you lose 6 points, but it's still a first place.
yes. A Baimon Sumo, not so much. But like if you have a Baimon and Akanashi on demand in this situation, like well played. Congrats.
The
I think
3
this
so's
just
probably pushes me towards folding. That's like the worst
yeah.
style you can draw.
Yeah, 3-so looks so bad. And even like I'm not like super thrilled about pushing 1-so even.
I'd be willing to push 1-so for Tempai, but as is, no. Not
I
with the
mean, you
one
don't
hand
really
of
want to be
3.
Tempai here, do you? Because the
Well,
only
if you had a
way
Yaku, you would. Yeah, you'd
oh,
like to break Tempai at the end of this hand. Well, there goes the 1-so, and now you find out it's safe.
yeah. It's like being Tempai at the end of this hand isn't particularly good for Irie.
You just continue cutting south here. Yep.
Yeah, just fold out and keep first place. But I guess
Yeah.
also like the score situation overall for the league is like you kind of want to run it up.
Yeah, that's one of the big reasons I'd have pushed 1-so willingly.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, well now we're
Yeah,
back
that
to
would have been your
Tempai.
sumo. Oh
Oh,
well. Oh, there's your 3. Deals into nothing because the south was cut.
yep, which is fine. I think
It's so tough because like you feel like you still have time, and like there's so much that can go wrong with pushing this game at another hand. All right, one pin comes out.
Now the 1, 2, 3 are all safe, so I'd be
Haku's
cutting
probably
those.
pushable. Oh well, yeah, 3-so is absolutely pushable. Haku's probably pushable. Oh, and that's the 4 south. that's that's
Sumo.
Oh,
Sumo.
there's a Sumo. Richie
Yeah, but
Sumo
yeah, that's
Tanyo.
fine.
You're happy with your first place, Richie Sumotanya. You get the oh.
Horizon!
right, well, there's the
Wow,
there's the
every last
-6.
point there.
I mean, honestly, after the way some of those things went for Kevin, like it feels good. Feels good for some of the backfires that Kevin hit, but I think if
With first place, 19.2. Jessa in
yeah,
second
and
with 8.8.
that
Hanley with
1500 ended up
1.5
being a
in
huge
third.
deal.
Yeah, and Kevin there with the or a 3 at the very end takes a pretty rough fourth, but not nearly as bad as it would have been
Yeah,
at the
like
minus 29.5.
-42 is significantly worse than -30 at this stage.
Oh yeah.
But that does put Irie back up to like sub -80, and definitely like with all the new promotion slots opening up, if you can get up to that ±0 line, which is definitely doable. Like plus 80 in 6 games has been, I mean, plus 80 in 1 game has happened, let alone in 6 games. It's just a matter of just keeping on grinding. Because all these players, I believe, with 6 games left, are definitely within range, all sitting with it between -80 and -108.
Yeah, and that's really what you should be aiming for is ±0 if you're in the position of any of these players. But I think there are more games to go, so
Yep,
let's take a look at
we
what is
have
available.
we have B11 that started 6 minutes ago, and we have B15 that started 3 minutes ago. If you want to take a look at the players, I'm not explicitly familiar with who has or has not been cast yet. Oh, actually, yeah,
I think
I
we've
forget.
cast a bunch in both.
I
I think
forget.
just a few in both of
Is
these.
B3 is also doing 24 games, correct?
Yes, I believe they are.
Okay, because I know that there was
They're
like
not a pay
some.
to league season here.
Yes, yeah. So everyone's playing
Yeah, they
24
just
games
don't
this
have the
season.
the snake ladder at the end. That's the only
Yeah, they just have
difference.
another grouping because there's so many people that you're not going to have duplicates anyway.
All right, why don't we go to B15? This is Riley,
B15.
Sarah, Josh, and John.
Gotcha. That is the avoid my bias table. Because I will absolutely be biased towards my own member if we cast B11.
Well, we're here. We're in the East 1 here. There's a Ricci for the dealers. Ricci Nomi waiting on 6. So on the right, there is a call for Tempai. This is also a 1 on hand waiting on 7 Mon, but 3 of those are in the dealer hand and 1 is across the way.
Yeah, obviously we can't know what the table state was at the time of the Ricci, but looking at the hand, would you have considered at all like just taking no Yaku Tenpai for a bit and playing 7-so and seeing what happened?
If
Just
I saw
looking at
that
this dealer
shape,
Ricci.
I would have cut 9 Mon.
Interesting. Okay, I see it. I think I still want to be Tenpai. Oh,
Boom.
that's a Haite dealing or Hote.
Hote
Hote
Nomi
Dora.
with the Dora,
Hote
so
Dora
you'll
pushing
take that for
Tenpai.
sure.
Very reasonable. I believe that was.
Yeah, I don't think
I
that's a
believe that
bad
was
deal at
Genbutsu.
all.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. It was perfectly safe against the dealer.
Yeah.
And it backs into that Yaku at the very end. But yeah, I know this is Sarah as dealer here with a Pinfu and a Dora. Maybe an upgrade to a Peiko or even Honitsu.
All right, let me update the names here real fast.
I think that's Josh on the right, who is called the East, going for potentially Toy Toy. Across the way, that is John, I believe, who is going with a Pinfu Tanyao. Maybe a Sanchiku, but looks a little unlikely. And I guess that's Riley on left. I'm not 100% certain.
Yeah,
but
that is Riley on the left.
okay, that is Riley going for probably a 79 Sanchiku. Has a Dora in the hand. Really wants a 7 pin to pull in the other shape, though.
All right, names should be updated now. I think we are all good on that front. Sorry, just coming back into the hands. I like the belief in the Dora here for Josh.
And that's what Dora is here for. You also have the possibility of Shanta here if you end up cutting the 6 mon 6 mon. You're probably got 6-0 like right here. It doesn't do anything for this end. Yeah. And this gives you all sorts of options. This gives you Chanta, Honetsu, Toy, even Honroto if you get really lucky.
Oh yeah, Honroto seems a bit much with the 6-month pair. However, you draw tiles like that, well, there
I
it
believe
goes.
in Honroto Doko on top of everything else.
I mean,
Boom.
yeah, okay. Fremont?
Josh clearly seems to.
I like Fremont. Oh wow,
That is a
that's
hard sellout.
that's so greedy. I love it. Josh definitely feeling the pressure of being the only one negative at this table, and being in B1, there's less of that trickle down from the hiatuses.
Yeah, I believe they get 3 extra promotions because of the hiatuses in A2. But other than that, it's
Yes,
not like you're going to get anywhere in 14th.
yes, but by current standings, I mean he's only 60,
Yeah,
70
Christian
points.
would be the last one in at this. Oh, there's the one Mon.
Oh
Now
my.
Ishan 10 for that monster hand. I think I got 7 Mon for sure.
Yeah, I
This
mean I
also gives
might.
you the ability to call the 2.
Yeah, I might have actually played the 3-mon. Just because I think it's marginally safer after having cut the 7-mon. Because you can still chi the 8-mon and Doratanki.
Well, there you go. This is an easy pawn. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Doratanki.
I hate
And
that
there's
this
no way
happens.
it comes out from anyone because this is obvious Sanchiku Doko. It is so unfortunate this is not Doko.
It's not quite Doko. However, the 1-mon. Oh no, the 1-mon con is not live. Sad. Oh, the 1 pin gets pushed. I guess it is 2-cut. But that's braver than I would be. I'm absolutely expecting a hell wait
Yeet.
for a Doko, or not for a Doko, for a
Well, come out now. We have a Ricci on the board on the left for Ricci Nomi waiting on 7. So
there's the
there's
last
another Dora.
Dora.
That is Genbutsu.
That is going to save
Yeah.
Riley. Wait, I can't imagine that Dora gets pushed by John.
Yeah, I can't
John
ever
is
push that.
in a very nice
Boom.
situation.
Oh, well, there's the
Wow.
7. Has
This
no
is a
idea, but
very-
that was absolutely the best thing that could have happened.
Yeah, and honestly, Sarah pays less there than she would have been
Oh, a
no 10.
whole lot less. That would have been Honroto, Toy, Dora 2.
Well, I mean, the Dora was dead at that point. It was like, assuming that no one cuts it, like
Right.
there was no tiles to win on. But like she even pays less there than she would have been paying Tenpai payments.
Well, we are in East 3. Dealer has maybe an upgrade to a 678 Sanshuku, but most likely looks like a Ricci Nomi. On the right, that definitely is a Pinfu hand. Across the way, Chun pair. Whole bunch of extra honors. We just brute force the Honitsu there. And on the left, a few pairs. Trying to shift it to a Pinfu, maybe in a Peiko somewhere, but I just don't
Gee.
like that shape.
Yeah, this chi is aggressive, but I mean, it's like it's Honitsu.
I like
You just
it.
do it.
You're going Honitsu with this. You're not
Yeah,
even
you
really
just do
thinking
it.
about it.
The Chanta's not really going to happen with the 2-mon pair, but like the Chun, kind of okay.
Now,
Gee.
John could have even pawned the north there, just gone for the Bakahon. But that would mean you're
Yeah.
going to end up cutting all those Mon tiles into that
Yeah,
Honitsu.
Bakahon feels quite aggressive when someone's already racing a Honitsu towards you. That probably has more value than yours when you don't see any of the Hatsudora. Like, I think I'd be okay with like slowly playing this hand towards a closed Honitsu if it happens.
If you're not familiar with that term, Baka meaning idiot and Hon meaning Honitsu. As in, only an idiot would go for a Honitsu only. Needless to say, I've done it many, many times.
Oh yes, it's very common slang, but like it's not necessarily always wrong, but like Honitsu only feels very bad. It's like oh, this hand is so pretty. Oh, this hand is worth 2,000. Okay. I get it, but like man, I want to push that 6-7.
Yeah, I think I'd push the 6-7. That's very much full speed ahead.
Especially if you're willing to play the East, actually. Oh, I guess that was 1 cut, and the hand hadn't changed. This chance actually could happen now.
Ooh, now this is an awkward draw. Do you cut 3-pin? No, just pushes the 6 right into it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm dealer. I'm Ishanten. There's no overflow yet. No overflow Honitsu Tenpai isn't real.
Just
But
keep
now-
puffing that copium.
Yep, now is when you're paying very, very active attention to Sumigiri Tadashi.
Boom.
Right. This is there. A lot of people when they learn about it, it's like, oh, the top players do this all the time. Like super top, absolutely. Like top level Japanese pros will, but outside of that, it's not nearly as important. But this is the type of time you pay
Yes.
attention to it.
Yeah, like it's honestly, it is both exhausting and somewhat infeasible to track Sumigiri Tadashi for 3 players for an entire game. So you have to like,
Oh, dodges the deal in with that 8. So
yeah, you learn to pick the moments where it like really is important to know.
no, that Shun
Sumo.
feels really bad. Oh, there's the sumo. And
Yeah.
Josh
That's
will just pick up
I
the
love
one
this
hot.
play for Josh. Like bravely asserts his dealership and calls like doesn't greed for the Ricci and just takes the Tenpai to shut down the potential monster because no one
Yeah,
still
when you're
knew
and
where
it's getting late.
those
It's so much
Hatsudora were
different to have
still nowhere to be seen.
it's so important to pay attention to whether you're Ishanten on turn 4
Gee.
versus turn 10.
Oh,
They're
we're
just
doing it
such
again.
different situations.
We're doing it again.
Let's go.
It's like,
Boom.
all right, it's gonna work this time. It's the Dora.
Meanwhile, dealer's in a really nice Ishanten for Ricci, possibly Pinfu, possibly Tanya Dora.
Yes, I think Josh is once again in the position where it's just like, do I care about this? However,
this
this time
hand,
Riley
no.
22 is significantly
Boom.
better.
It's already
And it's
done.
already Tenpai.
And it's Mongon with the 6 Dora.
The no overflow Tenpai isn't real. Totally. Is that
Eat.
Tenpai? That is Tenpai.
Wow.
Pinfu,
Ricci,
Dora
Pinfu,
1.
Dora. Yeah, you have to take that
I mean, you
Ricci.
have to. I mean, well, yes, you have to take the Ricci, but you also have to push this 5 on. You have no option.
Yeah, exactly.
You
Well,
sit
how do you
here.
fold? Even if you don't want to push, what's your other option?
Yes, like you sit here and you pray. Oh, 9-pin's Genbutsu. It's easy to forget about your own calls when assessing
Right.
someone's Genbutsu.
Man, you're just sitting here hoping for the upgrade. As cutting the 5 mon did kind of cut down the
Yeah.
tile acceptance of this hand, though.
When you're John and you see the 9-pin get Sumogiri, you're a little bit worried. You start just like, all right, just don't draw any Pinzu. Just don't draw any Pinzu.
The 8
looks
is
like-
Suji, but it's
yeah.
certainly not one I would have trusted.
I
I
mean,
think I
your
actually prefer
dealer-
the 9, so.
Yeah, your dealer with this reasonable, and now it's very reasonable pushing hand. But
Sumo.
just not.
Oh, there's the
do it.
Sumo.
Yeah,
Ricci,
there's the
Sumo, Pin Fudora.
Had the right range for being afraid of the 9-so, but just wasn't
and the
quite the
aura is
exact
Mongon.
tile. Yep, that is a huge Uradora to hit if you're John. Already East 4. Some of these games have just been flying by.
Well, I think we've cast 3 games now, and the highest win was 19.9.
Yeah, for real. We were close that last one. No, wait, no. Honley.
Yeah,
Honley
that
was
last
like
one, there was the Aura 3.
Honley was plus 27.
Oh,
the game
okay,
that we
that's
got
right.
half of.
And
Okay.
John here has a Pinfu type hand, could use the Formandora on the right. Few pairs, looks more like a Pinfu hand than a cheat toy across the way. A nice potential in Totsu developing in Pin, but also could just be in Ipeiko in Mon.
Yeah,
On
it
the
could just be
left,
Pinto.
that
It
is a
could
lot
even
of
just be
fun.
Chanyao sometimes.
2 Onko with 2 Dora, could even just be Sun Onko Dora 2 Dama.
Yeah, it could even just be Toy Toy. Honestly, if you get the like, this is one of those where I'm absolutely on team Pon Formon. Figure out a Yaku later.
Yeah, if you have a Dora, I take the Dora Pod all the time.
Yeah, it's like you don't really have like any shapes. I like the Dora lock here as well. I think it's a little bit premature because if you draw like 2/5 mon into that hand, like it's not like you have to cut the Dora. You don't have shapes good enough to like be denying like the Nakabukure upgrades.
Well, there's your completed Onko shape in Pin now for Sarah is Headless Ishanten.
Yep, Ishanten as well for Josh now on that 7-pin draw.
Well, that's an easy
Ricci.
Ricci. It'll be
Yep.
Ricci Pinfu. Waiting on 4-7.
I like in this case actually playing the 3-pin over the 6-pin. Just for like that minuscule shot at Ura 3. It's like Ura, like having one more tile for Ura 1 is so much less impactful than having a chance at Ura 3 here.
Like, even so, the 3 gives so much less information. You're looking to play defense against that pawn and going, what do I do?
Hello.
We have our
Josh.
Dora 3 on the left now,
We have a
waiting on the 6
chasing
pin.
Ricci.
Oh
Oh, you
no,
have
it's gonna
to. I
deal
mean,
in. You
you
have
have
to
to.
jam it.
You can't.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a double wrong. Oh, wait, no, it's not a double
Oh,
wrong. It's not a
it's
double wrong. It
no, it's
looks
not a
like
double
it could
wrong.
be the way, but yeah.
It feels so bad.
Eat.
You see the hesitation, but it has to be.
Yeah,
Boom.
like I love that. Like it's the I'm not an idiot. I'm senpai. That's the Ricci call there. Like I'm pushing this
Deals
force
in
because
for
I'm
the
senpai. I
2000,
promise.
doesn't end up losing the stick.
I've definitely done that before. Where just like I call Ricci on a tile that I'm pretty sure is gonna deal in because it's like this is
Can't
why I'm
fold
cutting this
there.
tile. Please do not think poorly of me.
Oh, we'll think poorly of you anyway until we see the log. Then we may still
Yeah.
think poorly of you.
No, you absolutely push that. Like
Yeah, every time you
how do
push
you
that.
not? Like
Dealer has a pretty nice starting hand.
you're
Ricci,
also Ishan.
Pinfu.
You know, I actually don't even like that Ricci. It's like I mean, I like the
No, I don't
message
like
it
that Ricci
sends.
at all. You
I
have the
like the
upgrade
message it
for
sends, but you're
the
Suanko Ishanten.
right. If it
Boom.
were a good weight and you're getting extra value from it, sure. But the extra value, I guess, would have pushed you to Hanemon. So it's not like it's a
Yeah,
terrible Ricci. I think I would have just gone for a
but
little
like
more Dama there.
Yakumin. Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
Sarah had a chance actually to with that South draw to. Never mind. South is already two cut. I was gonna say it's like if South was live there, I wonder if she considers just playing 8-mon and full sending this.
Ooh, well, now you
Oh,
have
now
your
she has
choice.
a chance.
I would cut the 8-mon there.
Yeah, it is just like Hatsunomi is like I guess it is into row 2 now. Hatsunomi just feels a little bit sad. And you're not like that worried. I'm not personally that worried about getting the Norths. I feel like I'm gonna get them at some point.
Yeah, I feel the nurse coming. Even if I'm stuck on a random Tonki, I can always switch that to a Dora Tonki. Oh, and that would be such a great chi, that 3.
Yeah. But at the same time, maybe
Eat.
if they see the 8-mon Tatsu cut.
Right. Well, we have Tempai across the way, Ricci, Pinfu, Dora, possibly Tanya, waiting on 1-4. The
Yeah,
ones are completely dead. The 4s are 2 in hands.
Yep, and this is
Sumo.
Well, just Sumo. It's going to be a
Sumo.
monster.
That's at least a Hanuman. Sakame Patsumo.
No Ura, but there is
No,
the
no
Hanuman for
Urodora to pat the
Josh.
stat page.
So there's your payback for that unfortunate deal in the previous hand.
Yeah, with significant interest. That is a predatory loan on that deal in.
We're to South 2. Sarah is dealer here. Good chance for a 3-4-5 Sanshoku is here, in addition to the Pinfu. Do have a bunch of extra terminals on ours to get rid of, though. On the
Yeah,
right,
Josh
we have
has
2
4
pairs.
dragons.
You're hoping.
4 dragons, and we don't see a single Haku. Again.
Across the way, a few pairs. Looks like a Pinfu hand, but kind of a distant. You have 2
Looking-
Dora. I might
looking
just call
kinda
for
cheapo-y.
Tanya.
Yeah. Oh, so I
I
was
just
looking
call for
left.
Tanya with 2 Dora. On the
Yeah, I like
left,
it.
Boom.
Pinfu, maybe Peiko, really the 3-so or the 3-mon
Yeah,
to pull
maybe
it in.
even Cheetoy on the left sometimes.
Yeah, lots of choices. I don't really like any of them, but even now you'd think about Tanya.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure. I think I haven't like been paying super close attention to how this hand progressed for Josh, but I feel like that 9-mon could have been held to hedge. This Honitsu, like when you open 2 dragon pairs, like Honitsu is definitely something that should be running through your mind.
Well, I think a big part of it is it already accepts Dora, and the 3-Han would probably be good enough, but yeah, I'd at least keep the option open.
Yeah, I don't remember what the shape was at the time, so it's hard to say. Now though, it's definitely just like you pull in the Hatsu. If you draw the Haku, you start making
3
choices.
Dora across the way, so definitely look for that south call.
Yes. Oh, there's the first Haku cut. That's gonna be the Ishanten though.
Ooh, wow. Look at that across the way. Ishunten
Yes.
for
John is not happy that his lead is being threatened. He wants to put Josh back down.
well, now it's even Ishunten for Cheetoy on top of everything else.
Yeah.
You have Ipeiko upgrades,
Cutting
you
a
have
Dora,
Sananko upgrades.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's rough.
You can't feel bad about that. You absolutely take the
Well, you
palm.
feel bad about it, but you know you shouldn't. This should be a
Yes.
Ricci.
Yep. That is a very solid Ricci. I mean, it's Ricci.
You know me, but could be the.
Oh,
Ooh, we see
doesn't
the call
take
with a
it.
4.
Yeah, just
I
gonna
don't
go
like this
Tanya.
one.
I like the Atazuke. It's like it's not a good weight, but
Yeah,
being
if you're gonna
Tenpai
take
is so
then
important.
fine with the Atazuki. I don't like calling it and cutting the south.
Yeah, being Tenpai is so important. But you know, it did dodge the dealing.
And the I just what? Oh,
Con.
oh,
Yeah, you have to con
oh,
that.
oh, he added 2 more Dora.
Oh, wow. And all the incentives in this hand are completely flipped on their
Dome.
head.
Yeah,
That
that's a
deal's
problem.
in.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Con
so
Dora.
sad.
Got yourself Dora 6, deal into Richinomi. The life.
Yeah.
Lose first place because of it.
Welcome, Bijong.
Ah, Mahjong. What a fun game. Oh, he gets a Haku Anko for his troubles. I feel like 3-pin has to be the cut there, but it's just like, especially after the 7-pin becomes the Dora, but it's just like,
Yeah, there's not much you do about it. Again, we've talked a lot about there are plenty of deal ins you're supposed to deal in there.
yes, fully agreed.
And it's something you have to be willing to accept, and it's so frustrating. It's one of the things that makes people pull their hair out playing Mahjong. But here we have Josh's dealer with a Pinfu type hand, actually building towards. I don't know. What do you do with this? Tanyao? You have that 9 mon, but the 2-4-4 6 shape's kind of ugly. Yeah, okay, going Tanyao. I do like the 9-pin cut there when you pull the Dora in. On the right, we see the 1-mon pawn, definitely going for the toy, but you're willing to accept probably the. Ooh, well, now it could just be Honetsu, but you have that Dora floating around. We'll see what happens there. Across the way, that is a Tanya type shape. Unlikely to be Pinfu. Questions will he open? And on the left, a Chun has been called. And you have that floating Dora, but also Ishunten. Speaking of floating Dora, now that Dora doesn't really fit in this hand, but I think Tumon comes out first.
Sorry, I was dealing with got a work text. I'm rejoining late into this hand. I see Dora Tanki. I get happy. It's not Senpai
You're
yet,
going to
but I
Dora
believe in
Tonki
John.
on at least 2 hands, it feels like.
Yes, actually. I think Sarah probably just cuts it to be take Senpai if given the opportunity.
Ooh, well, okay. I think you just cut 8-pin now. You're selling out on it if you are
Oh, Dora gets
Riley.
cut.
Ooh,
Interesting.
Dora cut. I don't like that one. I think you're to do that. You can cut the 9. So if you've just made that decision.
Yeah, I mean, also, I mean, cutting the 8 now definitely makes the hand playable in the future. If especially with a draw like that. Because now he has a more. Oh, actually, that 8-mon doesn't really do anything.
Tempa here for dealer.
Eats.
It is Ricci Dora, so I think you have to take it even with 2 out.
Yeah,
Good
it's a 2
con.
tile 8, Suji trap. Oh, okay. Good discipline. Good discipline.
Yeah,
No real
it's
reason
dealer
to do
Ricci
so.
feels bad.
Yeah. Oh, 5
5 is
so.
safe,
Okay.
so
So
yeah.
you feel pretty okay about
I'd
forcing the
push the
8
Dora.
here.
I wouldn't feel
Yeah.
that bad because that
Because the
8 already came
Honitsu
out.
is
If it were
so
live, it'd
good.
be unlikely.
The
If it
Honitsu
were
is so good here.
live,
The
I don't
thing
think
is,
I'd be able
though,
to push.
if you draw 7 or 9, so 5-mon's also not a terrible push. It's because it's half Suji to the 8-mon, and the 2 5-mon is very difficult to be the weight.
Sumo.
Oh, but just Sumo.
Just
3-pin. Good
Ricci,
tile.
Sumo Dora.
See, this is where I espouse the 3-pin, the anti-3-so. It never betrays. It's a great tile.
Well, also gets an aura, so Josh all of a sudden near 50,000 with that win.
Yeah, wild how one dealer Ricci can just swing an entire game from being close to being, oh, one person's running away with it.
Yeah, and John's still in a decent position, especially his last dealer, but the others are just kind of rough right now. Dealer here has the Haku pair, can just call, doesn't take the Dora. I think I'd have just called that. There's no way I'm staying closed in this. I'm taking the Dora when I see it. On the
Yeah,
right, feels like
it's
a Tanya
very
type hand. You also have a bunch
aggressive.
of pairs.
Autozuka is one of those things. It's like either you like it or you don't.
Yeah,
And especially,
I am well known for liking it.
yes, Autozuka is definitely one of the things that I've been more aggressive about as I've played more and had a little bit more success. But at the same time, it feels unnecessary from this point situation. Though I guess Josh is the one who needs the points the most.
Yeah, Josh needs points. And this is the type of game where if you can keep everyone under 30K, you get a huge boost. You could jump all the way to 7th place with a good result here. I'm going over the rest of the hands across the way, a few extra pairs, maybe a 4, 5, 6 Sunsku. And on the left, similarly, a couple extra pairs compared to what you'd want, but potentially just Ricci, Pinfu, or just Ricci. Could turn to a Tanya if you draw like 4-mon.
Yeah, I think with it's that's actually a very nice draw as well. But the 4-mon's still
Keep
definitely
Sanchiku
the
as an
desired
option.
upgrade.
Now a
6
7, it looks really good.
Oh yes, 3-so. You've already cut the Dora, so there's no point in holding that just in case.
Yep, I agree.
5-mon, just getting that out of the way
Yeet.
now. I like this. I like just the discipline here from Josh. Like, I think he's happy with his first place. Like, you can try to force John to be under 30K, but you can also do that next hand.
I also have a Ricci on the right. Is Ricci waiting on the 8? Not normally the shape you do that Ricci Suji rule on, but this
Yeah.
can certainly happen. Is Tanyao.
Yep, Rishi Tanya. I like the 8-pin shadow actually looks quite good to John because he has 3 of the 7-pin. Unfortunately, the pair is just locked in Sarah's hand. So she,
Yep.
and I think she's going to trust the 1-mon Suji before she trusts the 8-pin Richi tile Suji.
Meanwhile, dealer's already Ishan 10.
Yep. Riley has a pushable Ishanten himself as well. Yep, and there goes the 1-mon Suji. So Sarah, like, trying to stay in the hand, but that 4-so draw is a little bit tough. Though I guess it doesn't, the 4-so draw doesn't look the worst with the way that John has discarded this hand.
I mean, if you got Tempai, especially in the position, I might hit the button, but I'm looking for more here. I'm sitting at 19.5.
Yes, I don't disagree, but like, I think if you draw like, ooh, that, oh, 8-so is also not terrible.
It's safe. I'm pushing it. Forget that.
Yeah.
You could cut the 1-mon.
No,
Just
just
full
gonna be,
fold.
yeah, just a full fold. Okay. 1-mon definitely could
It's,
have.
I
hedged
think
for a
part of
bit.
that was Josh getting out here.
May have been
Ricci
spooked by,
Tanyao, no
may have been
aura.
spooked out by some of the tiles that other players were pushing, but yeah, definitely gets catches the bad end of Rishi Tao Suji there.
But
Now
no
is
aura. So you don't feel good about the 26, but it wasn't the kill with the aura there.
yeah, though that does drop her below Riley. That is a very key, like,
And John has a comeback hand here with 2 Dora and a possible Sanshoku.
yeah, fantastic draw as well. Though the Sanjaku is quickly dying.
Yeah, even though Ricci Pinfu Dora 2 is good enough.
Yep.
Pinfu
Ooh.
Tanyao Dora 2
Would
looking
you have
even
palmed the
better.
5-pin Dora there? I feel like I probably
Always.
would have. Yeah. It's so good, but like the issue is because you're relying on the 4-so yourself.
Oh, there's our Tempai across the way. That is a Ricci Ipeco waiting on 3-so.
Yeah, and that
And
had to
if
be
you're John, you don't even care. Ooh, I don't like cutting the Dora.
I guess he cares a little bit. I guess like because if you deal into if you deal any Patsu to a manga, you're below 30K.
You
And
drop
John
30K.
is very secure in his promotion at the moment. Well, he's very secure like with the extra spots.
Yeah, with the extra spots, you're not really worried about. I think the only problem is that late 2 makes you a little squeamish about pushing the 1.
Yeah, but like I feel like it happens a lot where like I see like 2/8 Richis and like the 1/9 just seems to always get pushed. At some point.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
honestly, like
what?
what
Okay, so here's a thought. If instead you want to be a little more defensive, what do you think a 2-pin cut? Because 3 is now 1 chance.
yeah, I don't hate it. I think I like that quite a bit. You can't palm this.
No.
Yeah, now yeah, okay. Well the 1-mon is now
Yeah.
good.
Now you're Ishan 10.
Oh,
No.
there's the deal.
Doesn't matter. There's the deal in.
Was that Suji or was that just a 3-so code?
Ooh, there's the aura. It was not Suji,
We'll
but
call it Sashikomi.
it works out. Does deal in for the 5200 with the extra
Yeah,
aura
that's a
there.
very important 5,000 points for Sarah to pick up because that does save
Oh, for
her.
sure.
That's essentially a 15,000 point swing for Sarah, who was right on that promotion line.
Right, but Josh is the winner here, even with that last deal in at 29.2. John with a plus 11 in second. Sarah with that big win at the end with minus 13.2. And in last is Riley with minus 27.
Yeah, and looking at the standings that just updated on our right, it looks like Josh was the big winner at the other table as well. Good day to be Josh in B1. I think Josh was sitting at like around 0 and is now at plus 74.
Okay, well, I think this is the only match this is going to be the last match. So I think we catch the second one of this and then hang it up afterwards.
Gotcha. Yep, that sounds good to me. This looks like okay, so they started again. Okay, I see. I understand what you're saying now. My brain's a little bit scattered because I'm trying to multitask because work's bugging me. But
Multitask, also known as doing bunches of things poorly.
exactly. You tell people to leave you alone after 7:30 p.m. Eastern, and they just can't manage to do it for even one day.
In other stories, A1, I'm not going to say Lucius clinched, but got another first place, is sitting at plus
Mhm.
333.6.
She
So
is
I think
doubling up
she
second
is,
place.
yeah, I think she is definitely heading to the league championship game as the winner of this season,
Yeah, I
along
mean,
with,
there's always possibilities for things. There are certainly all sorts of sharks at the top of that table that are able and willing to high roll a table. Because you have to remember, like that last snake portion, you're playing with the people that are directly trying to kill you.
I think that was changed this season, although I'd have to check that to be sure.
Yeah, honestly, I
But
don't
yeah,
have a
loose
clue.
overall is at 10 first, 4 seconds, 3 thirds, and one last.
Yeah,
So
we
that's
did
going
just
to
have
be pretty
another B3
dominant.
game start as well, but I'm pretty okay with just staying here.
Actually, I'd like to switch over to the other one, at least hit another table.
Yep, sounds good. They do start in 5 minutes. We can catch like the first hand or two of this and then swap over. Or we can fill 5 minutes of dead air. That's also a thing we can do. Actually, Korak, do you want to swap over to B3 and we can just call it a water break?
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. Let's just take a break.
Yeah, I could use a little bit of water. So we will leave our B1 friends to play their game, and we will pop back into B3 for a different table, and I will be back in a minute or two.
Alrighty, and we are back with more B3 action. This is a bit of a contrast from the previous B3 table. We have two of the top of the table, Henry in the middle of the pack, and Amari still well within range of getting into that plus minus zero that could honestly end up promoting. 'Cause honestly, I feel like just with the average turnover, being above plus minus zero at this point might be enough to get you out.
It's kind of how I feel, and I think there are an extra 7 promotion slots confirmed at this point, which would be
Yeah, so
all the
that's
way
all the way
through
down to
Will.
14. Or I think it's down to Henry, not Will.
Yeah, you're right. It'd be Henry. He was in this position, and we start off with Amari as first dealer, who is definitely the one at the table who needs to move upwards and has a Haku pair and a shape that can use the Dora, potentially
Yeah.
Ricci Dora, maybe even just call for Haku Dora.
Yeah,
On the
Hakudora
right,
seems like the way it'll go.
you just float Kokushi. Everything's so disconnected and awkward, especially having cut the Tumon. That feels almost like a sellout on Kokushi.
Yeah, I
Cross.
can see it. I think if you're gonna do this, like, I think you can definitely force the Kokoshi here, or at least like try for it. However, I
Like
want to
kind of like
hedge.
keeping the Tumon. I'd have cut the
Yeah,
6-0 and like let
I
the options
prefer.
open for Honitsu and either
I
suit as
prefer.
well.
Well, one, when I'm going Kokoshi, I prefer bluffing that it's a flush, and two, I like leaving that it's a flush, like the option to be a flush open. And if you're gonna go for a Kokoshi flush, like you might as well do it in the Dora suit.
Yeah, that's always an advantage, not to mention scares you at the table. Across the way, we have an Isha and 10 for Ricci Dora. On the left, we have definitely a Pinfu shape there, wants the 3-pin to really pull it together. Ooh,
Yeah, it
cuts the
does actually.
Penchun
Yeah,
here,
cuts
looking
the
for a little more
penchant. Yeah.
value there for
There's actually
Andrew there on the left.
potential for the Itsu
Boom.
and Sozu, also potential for 789 Sanshoku in some worlds, though it
Now,
looks
dealer's
like
Tempai on 4-7, and
yeah,
that
that 7
7
pin's gonna be
feels
a
like it may come out on the left for Andrew.
actually oh yeah
Especially now.
yeah, that 7 pin's gonna be a problem soon. Unless you just draw the last 7 pin to Tenpai. It is possible. Or even like drawing another 9 pin. You can maybe saved?
Well,
Saved?
yeah, it's going to fit into the hand, especially with the 9 being for it. I think you just got one, so.
Yeah, just got the 1 so and just those you leave the 8 so around just in case, because if you draw 9 so actually, no, there's really no world where this becomes a Sanshoku.
No, it's real. It's not really there, but you want to keep the 3-6 so that you can
Yes,
use that as your
absolutely.
Nobetan or as double pair up.
Yes.
Ooh, on the right, working towards Itsu. Oh, I
yeah,
don't like that one cut at all. I'd be cutting the 1-mon.
yeah, the 1 mon for sure.
Boom.
Is the one what like the 1 mon doesn't do anything for you.
Nah, it comes
It's like
back right out anyway.
now it's already been cut. Yep. This is an interesting thing. Like you could theoretically have played this like have locked in the head, but I don't think it's good when you're not dealing with Rionmen exactly. So like if on that 7 mon draw, cut 8, 9 mon. That
Well,
speaking of
there's an
7 mon
upgrade,
draw. Yep.
though.
That's a nice upgrade. Just gonna be
Yeah, too
Hatsu.
scared of your 4.
There's no world where this becomes Sanshoku for Henry. But Hatsu, Nomi,
Well, do you
Ishanten.
believe in Suanko?
Uh,
I think we see it. Dave is going for the goods.
I
That
mean,
or even Chitoy.
Chito Ishanten is already better than whatever the hand was going to be otherwise. And I don't hate
Well,
putting one
there's
go around
a
just in case.
Toy
With
Toy
two with
Ishanten instead.
Dora, yeah, with Dora, I like it. Oh, and that is the the 4 pin drawn, and Andrew actually susses that out and doesn't cut it. We'll see if Amari can get this hand for herself. But
Well,
looks
there's our
like
Tempai on the right, waiting for
yeah,
5-8-mon.
it's quite a good tempo too. When there's a Dora draw
Would be
for Andrew.
amazing to see a chunk on.
Oh my god.
Boom.
Oh, there's the Dora Palm that came out. Wow. All right,
Toy
and
Toy
now
Dora 3 Tempai.
yep, 7 so. How are we doing on 7 so's? They're both live. The 6 pin is
He's
dead, but the 7
safe.
yeah, the 6 pin's dead, but the 7 so's are both out there.
Hey, yeah, now we see a hard fault on left from Andrew. Doesn't want anything to do with this.
Yeah, even the Dora might have been a push too much, but sees the Dora pawn and
Gee.
has the discipline to lay down the Ishanten. That is not something you're allowed
Oh,
to
I
do.
don't like that one. Yeah, you
I
cannot
think
do a Koikai.
Yep. So I think that might have been some unfamiliarity.
Doesn't matter. There's the
honestly,
sumo.
You know what? Saves
That's
themselves from dealing
perfectly
in.
fine.
Save
The
themselves from dealing
Oyakabori
in.
goes from dealing in 300 to 500. You'll take that.
Yeah, because I mean, if she hadn't cheated that tile, she would have dealt in with that Amon holding tempo.
Yep.
So
Well, we
clearly,
have dealer
things know something
here
we don't.
is Henry, has 4 pairs, so most likely a Cheetoy hand, especially with the rest of the shapes in here. If you draw 3 so, you might think about a regular hand. Otherwise, probably not. On the right, still feels like a Pinfu hand, but you need to get rid of one of those pairs for it to be Pinfu. Across the way, feels like 1, 2, 3 Sanshoku. And on the left, wow, look at this shape in Mon. A confirmed Ipeko, but not anymore. You may end up with just Tanyao, even Sananko. But a long way from kind of everything. One pin fits in on the right for Dave, could be Sanshoku. And Henry is Ishunten for that Cheetoy, would just be Rishi Cheetoy.
Yeah, but Richie Shitoi's sumo becomes a huge hand as dealer even without Ura.
9,600, yeah, you'll love it. And then the Aura is 18,000.
Yep. No red 5s to add potentially Patsu value. That's like the only hand where red 5s are ever kind of like iffy. You don't really care about individual Han for Cheeto. You want multiples of 2.
Yeah, I'm wondering though. Earlier, I think I cut the 4 mon instead of the 1 mon, just so that the sushi trap. Yes, I realize it's door indicator, but so what?
Yeah, that honestly just makes it better. One cut terminal Suji is significantly more likely to get dealt into than Shompai.
Yeah,
Or
it's
live title.
disgusting. Then when you deal into, you go, "What kind of weight is?" Oh, it's Cheetoy.
Yeah. Or even sometimes it's just the Hisa hell weight. you just get bopped. Like, I got.
Yeah,
Well played.
Chi.
the GG go next. We've all seen some of those.
Yeah, it's gonna be an open for Sancho Kudora 1 on our right. I like the just to kind of get ahead of it. And also
Yeah, the shapes
looks-
aren't great otherwise, and the 2-so looks so safe against this.
I actually I really like cutting 6-0 there instead of 4-pin, because now you might be telling the message that you're sending to the table is that this might be a Pinzuchini too. Especially with
Well, with the
3-so
8
cut.
pin, it's unlikely, but you're kind of bluffing Jude-Shun.
Yeah, but but with the 8-pin, like it could have just been a backfire or like a choice that was made early that was then like gone back on. You're at least making the table respected by holding that 4-pin back over the 6-0.
Ooh, interesting situation for Henry.
Interesting. What do you want to cut?
That's how Henry's been playing these. Is definitely going for the monster Yakuban. Well, I think he's pulling this anyway. We'll
Pawn
take
this.
the Toy Ishunten.
Yes. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, I was like, you can't really decline 7,700 Ishanten as dealer. And honestly, Tuso looks pretty good. Just with the way that 3s and 4s have come out. And 9-pin,
Haku's still live. You might want to Diamond Con if it comes out.
Yeah, my only issue here is with the 9-pin is that it's 1 cut, and like honestly, it looks like Dave might have one. Though the early 8-pin, I guess, is again like more of is like kind of like a confusing tile thrown in the works here.
Well, 6 may come out. That would get
Yep, that's
pawned,
gonna
and
be
now
the
we have
pawn.
10-5 for dealer.
Let's see.
And yeah, definitely if Haku comes out, I absolutely con it with this
Yeah,
weight.
I think at this point, just for the draw, that's
I think it
that's
just
gonna deal
comes
right
out.
in. Yeah, I don't think there's
I
anything
don't.
you can do about
Yeah,
this.
I don't see you get around that one.
Yeah, that like these are 2 Tanyao calls. Like you can maybe suss out the Toy from the fact that a 7-6-5 so was cut, and they were all Tadashi. But like there are so many other like worse Toy tiles there, or like more
For sure. I think 9-pin
more
was even
dangerous.
1 cut there.
Yeah, it was already 1 cut. That was the last 9-pin.
So yeah, that's about the only thing he deals into. And we have East 2-1. Dealer has maybe a 79 Sanshoku with a Dora, definitely a Pinfu type shape. On the right, a Haku pair, maybe Chanta, especially now with that door, maybe
Yeah,
79
that Dora draw
Sanshoku
is
there as
very
well.
conducive to Chanta. Up top,
Across
we
the
have.
way, ooh, that's a fun one.
Let's see, so it's how many types? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 types with 2 pairs.
Yeah, I don't like the Kokushi, but I definitely like the Oh, that's like the worst style to draw.
Yeah, I
Now
don't want
you're
that draw.
incentivized. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
hate
think
that
like
one.
just three so I guess three
Yeah,
pin.
I'd
Yeah,
cut 3 pin or 3 so as well. That's when
yeah,
I look at it, almost just want to throw it back. I'm so disgusted.
yeah. It's like the Kokoshi like doesn't feel particularly good, but like there's some like the
And it
hand's
doesn't
also
chi the 2 so. Could have just gone for the Chanta and just
yeah the hand
passes
looks
on it.
interesting, but it's not good, especially if you don't have the Dora. If you had the 9-month Dora, like this hand has significantly more potential to me.
And we even talked about Amari's hand on the left, which is Ishan 10 for Richi Sanshoku.
Yes, which would be quite good and can fill in that 3-mon as well. If I'm if I'm Andrew, I'm just gonna laugh at a little bit at these draws. I think the way they're playing it though is absolutely just kind of a hard Kokoshi push or Suiso in some worlds, but it doesn't seem likely
Right.
given that west is one cut, north is or south is
There
two
are some
cut.
times where this hand is cursed, and this feels like it.
Yeah, might as well scare the table. Ooh, that's an interesting draw. So what
I
you can
cut
do,
north
yeah, I
north.
like this a lot.
Oh,
You can
okay. I like
confirm the
this too. I see
Sanchoku.
what you're doing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, you still
you
haven't
can.
confirmed it.
Oh yeah, but like you can get rid of the
Chi.
Penchon, end up on a callable hand with the Norths,
You even called
and
the
also
north.
end up with
I
like a
chi this.
really good
Forget
wave.
it.
I'm greedy. I think like this is definitely something that like I think robots will snap chi and like you probably should chi, but I'm greedy. Maybe this is why my average hand win is so high, but my win rate is so low this season.
Chi.
I know. I'm making the cheese, and I'm still not winning anything.
Yeah. Because remember that Amari is the one that needs the points at this table as well.
Yeah, that is true.
2000 feels slightly disappointing, and it's not even guaranteed to be 2000. You just end up on a Shabo with a Takame. There we go.
Oh,
Forgot the
we're
word for a
starting to
second.
see those pairs occur across the way. Is
Honro.
anything dead yet?
I don't. East is two cut.
Two cut. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think East probably needs
South
to
is
cut pretty
also two
soon.
cut. So it has to be Chito if it's going to be anything.
Interesting that the Haku is not taken on the right. Definitely
So
holding out for the
now that we've
Sanchoku
gotten to this
Chanta.
point, I'm looking at that 6-mon, and I'm like, I think Chitoy should have been on the radar earlier than this, because Menhol and Chitoy would be Ishan 10 right now if
Yeah, it'd
that
be a
6-mon had been
monster.
held. There's a certain point you just have to accept it. Like the Kokoshi is very unlikely. If it's not even already dead, honestly I'm not even checking because of how far away it is. That is Tenpai.
Yeet.
Tenpai for dealer, Richi Dora. The
Yeah,
7-mon
they're all
is
hell. Oh, that's
unfortunately
10.
locked
Oh,
up.
it's a double. 7-mon is a double roll now.
Wow, and it could easily come out from the player on the left, but Dave has
I
generally been
don't.
pretty
She
safe.
did. She
Has
is cutting
Amari?
Pei. Yeah, Amari's cutting
Okay.
Pei. So
I mean, you
I
keep
don't
the
think.
Sanchoku, even had Tanya here, so.
Yeah, I think. I
Well,
think
now you
she
have a
may.
Dora. I like this a lot. Yeah, Kotaku.
Yeah. So I think what she's seeing here is that the Norths like probably not that likely to come out because she's reading that the Kokoshi is happening. And so she decided to go for the potential Tanya on the 6-mon that had already been cut by Andrew.
And now it just folds out with the
Yeah,
3
now this
so.
folds out because the Doras, like Monzu in general, just look terrible. It's so bad. Oh gosh.
And now gets the
Oh,
2
that was
Dora. The game's like, are you sure you want to fold?
yeah. I mean, the Forso is not the worst push in the world. Oh, and it looks like on our rights, Dave was forced into
Yeah, he
folding by the
was
4-pin.
pushing it,
I
but then the
think
4-pin was too much.
I think that 4-pin's actually pushable. I think he might have
I have
forgotten that it's
pushed it.
Naka.
It's
Yeah,
Nakasuji.
yeah.
Yep.
I think he may have forgotten that it's Nakasuji because of his own 7-pin chi. This, yeah. So we're just gonna see folds all the way around.
It's a last
Unless,
tile. So unless the 7 somehow magically comes out of this hand, and I
yeah,
can't
no.
imagine
There was
why.
nothing. There was nothing actually safe there for Amari, but she just calmly played like a decent looking Suji.
Right. And that's how you do it. You
Yep.
see Henry here picking up a net 2,000 and gets a pretty good starting hand here as well. Not much value, though, because of that penchant. I'm looking for an excuse to cut the 8-9, but Chun to begin with.
Yeah. June, and then probably even the 2 so before the 8-9. Ooh,
Yeah.
okay. 8-pin.
Really
Now,
wants
there
that.
was a path for Sanshoku. I definitely like the 8 pin in there, and it'll also give you two possible Tanya shapes.
Yes,
But get rid of the 8 to begin with.
that is the key thing. There is that the two potential Tanya shapes, like you don't need the Chun to open this hand, and he
On
definitely
the
wants to
right,
open this hand. I think. Oh yeah, sorry. on the right.
yeah, I mean, maybe even just going Honitsu with this.
Possibly,
But I
that
think
seems
that's
quite.
so far away.
Yeah, that seems quite brave or bold.
On the right, though, looks like a pin food dive hand, except now the east is paired up. That is very much a callable shape. The rest of the
Yeah,
hand isn't great. You have so
1600 in the
many with
middle
those
is
lone
not
honors.
insignificant.
1600, yeah, it'd be nice. Across the way, that feels like a Richinomi type hand with a. Oh, I guess not Richinomi. There's a Dora in the hand. Ricky Dora is good enough. And on the
Yeah,
left,
that
that is
also
a
can convert
Chitoy.
to a Tanya.
Oh,
Yep,
and
on the
especially with
left.
the Dora draw, definitely a Chitoy
That
now.
do in fact be a Cheeto. It doesn't have to be like you can always like you can make it into a Tanya or something.
I mean, you cut. Oh, I don't like
Yeah,
cutting Dora there. I'd cut
there
the
goes the Dora.
8 mon
Yeah, I
instead.
think I hedged the 8-mon just in case because I'm willing to give up like the 7-mon progress to a normal hand to have the Dora draw to Ishanten Cheetoy. Honestly, I'm like a bigger fan of Cheetoy than I like make myself out to be, just because I think that's like honestly Cheetoy is a very like high skill expression hand,
Home.
but like it's skill expression in a very like specific way of like what can you get from other people's discards
Well,
in terms
I
of like what
have
you want
no
to wait on.
skill, so my Chitoy never works out. Now in Ishan 10, there
Yeah.
is not really a possibility to turn into a 4 for 6 Sanshku without a bunch of shifting, but it is
Yeah,
technically possible.
it would be quite the
Easy
coup.
pawn. Now you just
Yeah,
take Tempai. Forget
easy
this.
palm. I there's no upgrade, so I want to take the 7-mon Tenpai.
I agree. I'd cut the pawn, cut 4.
Yep. The only viable upgrade would be like drawing 3-mon, but
Home.
then that's like I'd rather just have the win rate now because you want to get rid of the
Okay,
Dora
we'll wait on the
proximity.
5. Of course, we know those 5s are completely locked up and never coming out of anyone.
Yeah, it is possible that Henry finds a way to cut one if the tank goes toward like Tanyao. Yeah, grasping at straws here. I don't really think it's happening. So looks like Amari is going to need to be drawing a 2 or a 3-mon
The
and upgrading
7.
that way.
Okay, 7 doesn't come out yet, but it feels like it's very loose in that hand.
Yes, yes, it definitely looks like it. Though the shot 10 is looking quite nice for Andrew. Another Dora comes out. So there's wow, what a draw.
Three-sided
Yeet.
wait.
All right, now cut 4 pin on this Richie to flex. Can you imagine? Okay, this is the straight fold.
Folds out.
So this is one of those folds where it's just like it feels good to not deal any Patsu here, but now what's your plan?
Yeah, it gets
You know,
lucky
like,
with the 6, and
the
even
6-mon
3
have
is
to come
safe
out, but
here.
there's now like the 3-mon
Sumo.
is Suji. Like yeah, you
Okay, I don't
avoid.
have to worry about it now. This will be extra foo, I believe, with the 2
Yes.
Anko here and the
Yep.
Tonki, so it gets
Specifically
all the way
because
to
it's the
5200
4.
plus the middle.
Yeah, that 4 is actually the Takame. Usually not the case in those shapes because you get a lot of the times you get pinful on the 2-5 shape. But
Does get
yes, I think
value. Pretty big
I
hand
think
there.
yeah, but I think honestly, if you're um player last hand, you push that because it's safer than folding. Like winning the hand is your best defense.
Well, dealer here has a Pinfu type hand. On the right, we have similarly a Pinfu type hand. Extra pair. You do have Ryankon and a kind of ugly Penchon to deal with, though. You have a Doris. That's something across the way. Maybe 789 Sanshoku, floating 3-pin, kind of your door. Definitely
Definitely
feel
the
like Sanshoku
789
now.
Sanshoku now, yeah.
And on the left, maybe Peiko Dora 2 Chun, even potentially Honitsu shifts. A lot of options there.
Yeah, it looks like they're a little bit trying to figure out what they want to do here. I want to play the 5-mon just to try to keep a hold on 5-pin acceptance. I don't really believe that Itsu's ever a thing here. I suppose if you draw
Okay,
exactly
Hatsu's cut. I think I like one so a lot more because I haven't given up on Honitsu with that hand.
yeah, but I mean the hand is already quite nice. It doesn't really need to force the Honitsu. However, yes, I agree. One so doesn't really do anything for the hand. Even if you draw the 3 so, yeah, and boom, there you go. And even the 8 so I probably would have cut before the Hatsu.
Yeah, same. The 6 at least gives options for Sanshku on top of everything.
That is an
So
Ishanten.
that
That is
does
not
fit.
really the Ishanten you wanted if
That's
you're a
an
Mara.
ugly Ishanta. That's
Yeah.
if I take it, I'm going Itsu.
Yeah. Alright, well, there is no.
I don't like the 9 cut at all. I think there are a lot of other ways you could have gone with this, but it's going to be Ricci Nomi. I think the 5.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
well, yeah. Yeah,
What do we know?
yeah, I absolutely would have cut 5 mon. Because if you draw the 5 or the 6, though, you can then shift that back to the potential Sanshoku
Yeah,
without
see,
losing
you draw
Shanten.
the best tile with that 5 still in your hand, and you still can't take the Ricci.
Yeah.
If you're going to do
Ricci.
that, then you just have to
Oh,
take the
okay.
Ricci. I always hate these.
It's the wait one turn Ricci. It's the classic. It's the Ipatsumo. We already know. This is Ricci Ipatsumo Ura 2 on the 5 mon. That's just the way Mahjong works sometimes. That is a very aggressive 6-pin play. That was also very unnecessary for Dave. I don't think Sancho the chance at a Sanshoku is worth forcing the 6-pin there when you have a Genbutsu 3-pin. Yeah, Haku comes out. I definitely agree with Dave pushing this hand, but I don't think the 3-4-5 Sanshoku is real. So I
Boom.
would have liked to see the 3-pin shift instead of the 6-pin jam.
Tenpai now on the left for Chundora, waiting on 4-7 so.
Yep, there it is.
And there's the 4.
Yeah, and this is just what ends up happening so many times when you take these bad weight, bad value Richis. Someone has value, decides to fight you, and they win because
Yours even
statistically
has a
that's just
decent
likely.
shape, which is what that was.
Yeah. It's so hard to force people to fold with a Richi and Akanashi, especially if they have even one Dora, because like there's just not that many hands that can be that scary.
But here we have dealer. It is Andrew. Has a bunch of 6s and 7s. Maybe a Sonanko shift, but feels more like a Ricci Nomi. The Ipeiko would be really nice if you draw 5 or 8 so.
Yeah.
But ooh, that's
I
an
wonder if
interesting
that.
draw.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that 10 pin, now you can really think about a lot of
Each.
options, especially get that 5-8. But there's a
wow,
Ricci
I
across the
love
way, and
this
that's
Richi.
scary.
That looks very, very good for Henry. I wonder if he
Oh,
played
yeah,
that
that absolutely
Tumon.
comes up.
Yeah, I wonder if he played the Tumon ahead of the One-So to try to like make Manzu look a little bit better. Knowing that that's what his final shape was going to be, regardless of what Tenpai he hit. Because he did lose out on drawing 3-Mon potentially, but I don't think 3-Mon was particularly good there either.
Right, and you're really hoping to draw Dora in that shape anyway and cut the 4-mon,
Yeah.
ultimately.
Unfortunately, he did end up drawing the 6-Mon to Tenpai, but I mean, this is still a good Richi.
On the
Any,
right, it's not like that's bad. That's a possible South Dora hand,
oh,
especially
that's a
now.
very good
You're
draw.
getting very greedy. I'm cutting 6-8, so probably.
Yeah, takes the potential or takes the fake Finfu and keeps the Yushanten. Probably
Yeah,
just
I
not
don't
really
really like
willing.
that. I feel if you're gonna fold, throw the 6-0.
Yeah,
If you're gonna Mawashi, cut the 6-0. If you're
I
just
think Mawashi 6-0 and then 8-0 seems fine. Just accept the try to get the Nobaton and the 5-8 mon, or maybe you eventually draw the Dora.
but
But I think
the
you can
Hatsu on the
go.
left is very loose there, but it
Yeah.
is live.
See, and now the 8-0 comes out anyway. 4-mon is drawn, so there's only one tile in the wall for Henry to sumo on. It is the Hatsu, so it is the Takame. Richi sumo Hatsu would be quite nice here.
Yeah, you would
So
get the
would
extra foo on top of everything.
Yeah, 340 sumo is such a nice feeling.
Well, it's
It's like
340 versus 240 on either sumo, so it's one
yeah,
of those really weird situations where the foo from the sumo is going to actually push it over, and then the
yes,
Hatsu pair if you draw the 4, but the 4 is
yes.
dead.
This has been very good from Dave to avoid pushing this Hatsu. I don't think he's actually going to end up cutting it unless he really runs out of options.
Yeah, at this point you're starting to wonder, wait, why haven't I seen it? Because I
Yeah,
probably would have pushed this way earlier.
yeah, because like usually like when tiles that are cut pretty often and pretty early, when you see none of them and you're in the third row, like you got to start wondering to yourself, it's like, why? Where are these? And like sometimes it's just the case that everyone's afraid of it, but like there's also a reason everyone's afraid of it.
Right. You're gonna end up in this well, especially with like Dora Tonki, that will happen all the time.
Yeah. I love me a good Dora Tanki Rishi. Give me that Rishi Sumo Dora too. Cheetoy.
Great way to turn a
Dora 2.
complete garbage into hand into a surprise Mongon.
Yep. Rishi Sumo Cheetoy, Dora 2, Ura 2. Easy. Yeah, it looks like everyone will fold out here unless the Hatsu gets drawn right here. I tried, alright. I tried to help you, Henry.
Well, we get one player tempi as Henry extends the lead. That's
Yeah.
2,000 here. You're hoping for more there, but you'll take
Yeah,
it.
if I'm Henry, I'm like a little bit surprised that didn't win, but I'm also quite okay with the result.
Yeah, that's basically how I'd look at it as well. Is wait, why didn't that win? Whatever. I got 2,000 net out of it with what was
Yeah,
ultimately a pretty
2000 net,
garbage
and
shape.
you move the game along, which is quite good in this position.
Well, dealer here is Amari with the Hatsu pair, decent shapes elsewhere. Distant 4-5-6 Sunshu, but unlikely. On the right, Pinfu 6-7-8 Sunshu looks pretty good. Across the way, we see the Chun Pon. And I don't know, Chanta. I guess there are other options, but it doesn't feel great no matter what you do.
Yeah,
And on
I
the
mean,
left, definitely like a
even
Pinfu, maybe
Shunomi,
2-4 Sunshu.
even Shunomi gets you quite close to 30k with the 6 in the middle, and you overtake second place.
Well, there's a Haku pair. I'm selling out Honitsu now.
Yeah, I like the Honitsu sellout. I think, honestly, I think it's a decent look for Amari to just get rid of this Paydora as soon as possible and just play for maximum efficiency to try to maximize your dealer turn. Because
Well,
well,
especially that 9-mod pair out. This is the easy play. And yeah, there's
yeah.
your backfire on the Paydora.
Yeah, just because like when you see like Yakuhai and you see like cuts on the left and right that already look Honitsu, like I really want to get rid of the north before it's a problem.
Yeah, that is the sellout on Honitsu we are looking for, cutting the Forso from the Ryanman.
Yeah, I think this is going to be quite a strong play for Andrew because that hand looks quite good. It's like you're looking for Pawn Pawn and then Sun Shan.
Yeah, the 9-mon you figure is going to come at any time.
Yeah, you're willing to pawn anything. This is a
You
fantastic draw
pull in
for
the 1,
Amari
you pull
too.
in the 9. You're really hoping to, of course, pull in the
Yeah, Amari just
Haku.
filled
I'll
out a
eventually
5
get
pin
the
though,
word
so her hand is definitely very playable at this point. Oh, fantastic draw here
out.
towards that
Ooh,
Chanta.
I don't
I
know
don't
these.
think you
You
can
can't
see it.
cheat that. I don't
Yeah,
like the cheat.
that does not help. I mean, it gives you Ponten, but like,
Right, that you could wait on the 2 later, but I think I like
yeah,
my
2 is now like
worse shapes earlier.
you now have a Kanchan for 2 tiles as opposed to like needing to pull them twice to have a Sanmenchan. Interesting. Okay, so I think at this point you really just need to get rid of these at Yakuhai. Yeah,
Yeah, I
just
agree.
hope that it's not ready yet. Is the Forso just has too many valuable upgrades, especially because
Oh, there's the 2. Okay, looks like it paid
wow.
off. Easy
Okay.
cheat.
Oh,
Oh,
would
no,
have
you
drawn the
can't throw
Haku.
that.
I think it'll be thrown. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm dealer. I cheat. Only 39, but definitely not what you're definitely not what you needed here if you're
You are in
Amari.
4th place. That's your last dealer turn. I think you have to push it. It feels really bad. I hesitated on it and then pushed it.
I probably would have just like rage timered.
Yeah, basically the same thing.
Yeah.
Deer here has possible. Well, I guess not going for the Honitsu now. Could have gone for the Honitsu South
Uh,
Dora type hand.
no, this is Kokoshi. This is Kokoshi or it's Honoro.
I'll definitely selling out for it. We'll see if it comes together.
Yeah,
On the right,
it's
we have a
what?
Hatsu
1, 2,
pair.
3. Oh Jesus, yes. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 with 2 dupes. Not bad. The West Pawn really makes things awkward though.
Yeah, across the way you see the West Pole, and that is a Yaku
And
High.
here's where you get punished for cutting the 5. So, it's like
Yeah.
at the very least, you have to cut Formon first.
1、
Even if you're hard committing to Kokoshi, like keep the Sozu around. They're too
Right.
good.
If you've made your decision even to go for Honroto, the Formon doesn't help you anyway.
Yeah.
Now just doesn't call the South. Just selling out for Kokushi, I guess.
Yeah, it's definitely just a Kokoshi sellout, which I mean, like, fair. You know, you're winning. It's going for Kokoshi's fun, but it's like not every play needs to be optimal.
Well, now you see mid tiles from all 3 suits, so it's either
Yeah, either it's a very
Junshan
weird
type
hand.
hand, or a Chitoy, or it's Kokushi.
Yes, the West is really the key tile here. That is the backlog. But drawing
Well, you're
Ishanten.
thinking about it.
So I like playing 9-so first there, so you can play the south when
Yeah,
you
I
get
cut the
Tenpai.
9-so as well.
Is the 9-so is significantly more likely to deal in later. That's the thing. Is like
Well,
when you're
again,
going
south is
Cheeto,
one cut.
yeah, when you're going Cheeto, you really need to be constantly juggling, or sorry, going Kokoshi. Did I say going Cheeto or going Kokoshi? Either way, when you're going Kokoshi, like you really need to constantly be thinking, it's like, okay, what? Like you need to be setting yourself up to be able to push once someone beats you to Tenpai, because someone's going to beat you to
Will
Tenpai.
beat you to Tenpai, yeah.
Yeah. Wait, speaking of which, we have any Shantan on the right that is looking to pawn one of the tiles that Henry needs. See, like now
North
this
is not
that
one of them.
yeah, like now this still needs to be the
Yeet.
9-so.
Well,
That's
now it's
Tenpai.
Tenpai, and now looking to roll on that Hatsu.
Yes, because but like now, like look at your situation if you're Henry. Like
I'd
you
much
could have
rather have that extra south in my hand.
yes, or
The
even the
south and
north.
the north, yeah.
Yes, but like you still want to push is your Shantan for Kokoshi.
Right.
Like in this particular case, the 9-so doesn't get punished, but very much could have. 6-mon becomes Genbutsu as Andrew tries to find their way to Tenpai. And 7-mon Suji, yeah. Actually, the 7-mon come out of the Ipatsu?
Well,
Yeah, the 7-mon came out of the Ipatsu. That's a really weird tile. That's so
I'd
difficult.
pass.
I
It gives
think
you two safe tiles, if nothing
Boom.
else.
yeah. Oh, pawn is not the option I was thinking of here.
No,
If you were
I
gonna
don't
do
like
that.
that one.
If you're gonna do that, you cheat. All right. Well, now it's just
No, you
6-mon.
definitely cut the 6-mon.
Oh, that's just
One
unnecessarily
is
risky.
Suji. It's not safe.
Yeah, but 9-so and 6-mon are both Genbutsu. I guess
right.
9-so could deal into Toyman, who just aggressively played an 8-so, but 6-mon at least.
Interesting choice here on the left. Okay, takes the safe 8-pin cut.
All right, we still do not see that last West. There are two Hatsu on
Or
the
the
wall,
last, yeah, the Hatsu is the other thing we're looking
and
for.
now this is where you needed to cheat at 4-pin.
Right.
This is, I mean, all these tiles are very pushable if you're Henry. Is that? No, it's not Tempo. That is a very. Oh my
Oh, there
gosh!
we go.
Oh
Yeet.
wait, please don't reach it. Oh my gosh!
Oh. Well, now everyone knows what
Wait.
you're looking for.
Chankan? Imagine we see the Chankan Kokoshi.
Chi.
Oh, that'd be hilarious. Oh, we
Oh my
have a
gosh!
cultist on the board.
It is Dora
Dora
Tanki.
Tonki, though. Yeah.
Yeah. So we have Dora Tanki versus Kokoshi versus just like normal Shabo. Oh, wrong terminal. Oh, wrong Tanki.
Well, there's the 3-so.
I mean, of course you're never cutting
That's
the Dora there.
Tenpai, isn't
but-
it?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
Uh,
no! Do not doubt the power of Sanso.
good content if nothing else.
And the other thing is that brings them within a 200-point difference between first and seconds because that
Yeah,
was a direct hit and the Ricci stick. That's a
Yeah, this
huge
is yeah.
thing in this
You
game.
really, this is why you don't reach you that. Like even like regardless of like you tell everyone that you're Tenpai for Kokoshi, like there's just no reason. You don't get anything out of it. It doesn't make the
Yeah,
West
you do
more
end up
likely.
giving extra. You give 1,000 to your direct
Yeah.
competition with that
You make the
Ricci.
West less. You make the West less likely to get discarded. Honestly,
Right, because I
if
mean,
they're paying attention.
right. I could absolutely see it being conned if there's no Ricci, if the second Ricci doesn't come on
Yeah,
board.
because like how like honestly like looking at like there was really only like one or two tiles that was actually a push. You know how much credit do you give the Kokoshi if you're even like paying attention to it at that point? Because you're Tenpai or you're Shanten, depending on the time of the
Well,
hand.
no Yakuman. The dream is dead. But now we
Yeah.
move on to South 3. Dealer has Pinfu type hand, but quite a distance away, especially the 1, 2, 4, 6, 8 shape. In Mon, always ugly. On the right, Hatsu pair, a few other pairs. Feels like it's just calling go type hand. You do have a Dora across the way. A few pairs similar. Link at 8-pin here. Maybe a Tanyao, maybe a Chitoy, maybe a Toy Toy even. Unlikely. I mean, it's hard
Maybe
to
it's
figure out what to do with
Maybelline.
that. On the left, we have maybe a 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku and a pair of Haku, so you could always just call that and go.
Yeah, I think if you're Henry, you definitely just want to kind of Haku and go.
You
I'm
just chi
not.
this and take. I'd chi this.
I don't. I don't like it. I think that's like way too good of a shape to chi.
Oh, I don't like cutting the 2 either. I'm definitely cutting the 5-mon.
Yeah, the 5-on does nothing here. You just lose Sanchoku outs for no
Boom.
reason. Because like now you're just sitting there with the 5-on. That's not going to do anything for you.
I cheat that one. These shapes are terrible.
Yeah, I think you just kind of have to. Well, you don't have any Dora.
Everything fit. Well, unless you're going cheat toy. Like I could see if you're just selling on a cheat toy to pass that
Yeah.
one.
But even if you're not going cheat toy, like 1,000 points doesn't do anything for you.
That's true. Sitting at 18.8, it's a bit awkward.
Like it doesn't even really get you into a range for like unless you sumo it doesn't even get you into like a breaking point range. 5,200 is still not enough after you win 1K to get out of last.
Oh,
That
okay,
is-
that's a nice little draw. Now you can
yeah, so I
hope for
think
the
you
Peiko.
I
I'd
think you
cut
play
3 pin.
pin. Yeah, 3 pin and hedge. Yep, I like this. Now all of a sudden this 5-mon might become a problem for Henry. Oh, well. If you're gonna do that, then you should just cheat the 5-mon, yeah.
On the
that
left
gives-
now for the 1-4. The 1 is completely dead though. The 4 is completely dead. So
Yeah.
I think that makes this weight dead.
Yeah, actually, in this case, the 5-mon was actually doing something, and you should have played the 2-mon.
Right. Because that lets you potentially upgrade that to some better shape.
Yeah, and the thing is, if Henry deals in here, it's actually a pretty big
No.
deal. But Andrew's got
Henry
him
the
covered.
deal in
Yeah.
for just 1,000.
Yeah,
And
but
Henry
my
will be in
issue,
the lead in South 4.
yeah, my issue with this hand is that like I'd much like if I'm Amari, I would much rather have a hand than 1,000 points. Just like
Well, speaking of hands, look at this for the dealer. I think it's sell at Jinitsu.
oh, for sure, immediately, and they're already on it with the 2-pin
Boom.
cut.
That
Unfortunately,
may not
Henry
be
is
the
fast.
fastest hand. On the right, Pinfu type shape, maybe a shift toward 234 Sunshu. Across the way, the Shah has been pawned. That is a Yakuhai already. Looking for toy upgrades as well, but I think he's taking anything he can get.
Yeah,
And
like
now already
prior
Isha
to the
10.
prior to that 1-pin draw, I'd have been considering Honitsu if I was not in first place as Henry here.
This should be an instant pawn.
Yeah,
I
this is
would
definitely a pawn.
I would not have taken that long.
Yeah. Yeah, something you gotta make sure you're clicking the right button. So here actually I really like holding the 6-pin there. The Chun really doesn't do anything for you. Like even if you draw it,
Very
great.
likely to end
but,
up that the
you
dealer
don't
ends up needing it.
yeah, it's like you don't need points here. You need to win the hand. Especially when you see the dealer do something scary like going Chinitsu. You get rid of the Chun ASAP.
Yeah, I agree with that tune right now, unless I draw a
Chun.
Montile. Yeah,
Uh,
great.
oh,
And your
no, that was
Tempai.
Tempai!
Oh, that was Tempai!
There's a lot of tunneling going on, I think, on this toy. Palm?
It is technically Tempai. You
Oh?
pawn and wait on the 7.
I think it's really bad. I think it's really bad to pawn that. Like it's Tempai, but like you lose so many like good Tempais. Okay, Tempai again.
Yeah, you take
There it
this
is.
one.
Okay.
Okay.
Luck,
So
like,
you end
yeah.
up in the same spot.
Yeah. Oh,
Ooh,
well,
that's Tempai for dealer.
yeah.
Wait
this
on the
is-
south, but it's
I hate-
dead.
I
And now there's overfull. This may cause.
Boom.
Oh wow! The overflow caused the fold. Wow!
so brutal. I was about to say like I'm so sad about getting the south, but like it worked.
Wow. Okay. Well,
Oh,
that's
and
going to
now
be
the dealer-
7,700.
Now the dealer is quite a good hand, but Amari's hand also looks quite nice in
And
terms
deal
of
with a
like,
nice
shapes.
Pinfu, Tanya, maybe a Dora in here as
Yeah.
well on the
It's
right.
just- It's not going to be quite enough points, I think, unless something weird happens to get her out of last.
Yeah, I mean, you
it's a-
just want to send for a Suanko and hope it comes. I'd pass that.
Yeah. The only other, yeah, I like the pass, at least on the first one. The second one, you can you can try
You
to
just have to take it and just go toy.
Hey, go toy, try to
Try
find
and
some,
salvage
try to
some
con
points.
some shit, yeah.
Yeah,
to con some style.
I'm hoping for Suanko. Everything else, that's kind of nice. Across the way, Pinfu type hand, but kind of awkward too. Maybe a 678 Sunshuku in there, but just hard to pull together. On the left,
Oh, yeah.
feels like a Pinfu type hand with a lone Dora.
Yeah, it's like just going back. If she can find like a manga on toy, like she can at least direct hit Dave, which is like better out than like you expect to have. This is an interesting draw for Henry
I guess
because
5-pin. Yeah.
yeah, double penchant feels so bad, but like cutting
One of
and
those with Dora and
Cutting
the
the-
5.
cutting
If you
the
keep
wrong
it around,
one
your
is
most
so
your upgrades
bad.
don't help.
Oh,
You
alright.
keep the 5 and draw 6. How do you feel about it?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There we go.
Now you have a real question.
I think you. Oh wow. Okay, if you're gonna
I think I cut the 5. I like cutting the 5. I don't like the 6.
Yeah, you have to at least keep the 7-mon alive. You don't really gain anything by not doing so. Alright, Amari has drawn all of the pairs needed.
Yeah.
Now just needs to find the
What
Ankos.
even do you really? Yeah, with the one pin already having been discarded, you can't really keep it
Yes, it doesn't help really.
because that would be the only way that I'd be willing to accept a
Cheat.
cheat toys. It was also Honitsu, but
This-
meanwhile,
yeah.
dealer says, "Have fun, guys."
So
Riichi
now-
Pinfu Tanyao.
Now there's a legitimate question. Yeah, I like the four.
Yeet.
I like the 4
I
mon.
agree with this. Oh,
Don't.
there's the Apatsu. Oh no, disaster for Henry. Riichi Apatsu Pinfu Tanyao.
Yeah.
No aura, and
This
all of a
is
sudden goes from
absolute-
complete control of the game
It's
to
absolutely
sub
massive
30K.
for Andrew, who really just did not need this at all. Andrew was already well comfortable.
Andrew will jump into the second position in the league after this game, and he's not done yet.
No,
Sitting here
we
with a
are
pretty good
still
starting
going.
hand too.
We do see Amari with the double south and some potential contiles. She could
Now an
like,
Ishan 10 for dealer. It'd be an ugly
Yeah.
one.
if you're Amari, do you palm the double south and then just like start calling stuff for Toy Toy and hoping? Because Mongon direct hit can
Might.
get you into third.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah. It's like it's not a good look.
You
but like, you have
hedge the
con
option of
opportunities.
Toy Toy or Honitsu even.
Yes. Yes, I agree. It's like you definitely have options in both.
Well, okay, now you just cut 6-mon. Ricci is not a bad situation here.
Yeah,
Ricci with the Shampoo.
Ricci double south sumo, very playable. Won't get you out of last, but I mean +8's +8.
I would
I don't
not
think you can
call
palm.
this.
Yeah, you can't palm this one. Yep. I might even play 3-5 so here.
I'd cut 3-5. Yeah.
Yeah. The door.
If you end up with an Intotsu that also uses, I don't like that at all.
The
Oh,
double
that
south
hurts
is
me.
so important.
Rip.
Yeah. Alright. Henry's got a potential Honitsu though. It doesn't look
Well,
like he
doesn't
wants
want it though. Cutting the 7.
Yeah,
just
I think he
going
might
for
just
the
be trying to
straightforward
play
hand.
for. I think he might just be trying to play to get his second place back. He still has it, but
Yeah, it's still second place deck. Well, okay. But now cutting the south. If you're to do that, I think cut the 8 so last turn.
Yeah.
But okay.
yeah, it is Ishanten. It's just hello.
Okay.
9-pin, 9-pin?
9-pin, 9-pin? Yeah, I like that for sure.
Yeah. Oh, good Shun draw for Henry. At least it's like good for getting him just to the end of this game. He definitely cannot be very happy about. Oh
Let
my.
that step. Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, that's a rough
That
one.
hurts.
That's rough, buddy.
No, if Henry still had the 7-pin, you could even just go Honitsu, and
Yeah,
that would
because
give you a pretty good
the
chance.
Honitsu is your out to getting back above 30K.
And I believe it'd get you to 30K, so that'd be good enough.
Yeah, because you only need 4,200, and there's 2 Honba. I mean, you need
Right.
That's Senpai, I think.
I don't. Well, it's Tonki. It's a random Tonki.
Oh yeah, okay. It's
you don't
fun
want to
Senpai.
reach you
This is this is open Ricci on the 5-mon. Yes, let's go. Are you ready for Henry to palm the chin and then play the
He may
5-mon?
just throw it here.
Yeah. Can you imagine the mental damage of dealing in 5-mon Ipatsu to a random Tonki?
Patsudora 2, no less.
Yeah,
Or Patsudora.
Ricci Patsudora. I mean, there'd be just the way the flow's going. Just like, it's not even Akaari. Like, 5-mon Tonki is just like, not even like you good, but like, if it works, it works.
Like waiting here, well, if the Hatsu would have been for that's
Senpai.
Senpai. I think you take Shampoo, so it's fine.
I do think you take the Shampon because the value can get you above 30K. Oh, I think
don't
you
like
need to
Dama
reach
at
this.
all.
You need to reach this.
I
You need to
absolutely reach
now.
this. You need the value.
Yep. This is Senpai.
リーチ
Like now, even more so. You absolutely
Yeah,
reach.
jam it.
Suma Gary Ricci.
Oh no! This is just Chun. It's not enough points. It's 1,300 plus 2,000 plus. Yes, it's 27. Yeah, Chun Nomi on Realm does not get Henry enough points to get over 30K. I guess. I think. Oh, I think
that the reaches stickle
Oh,
drop him
no.
below, and I think he steals in.
if
This is in the last place. This is a Ricci Pinfu Tanya. Ura would be 4th place.
Yeah. We'll see what
No.
happens. I don't disagree with the push, but I think
Yeah, I think you have to push.
Yeah. Oh, there's the early.
Oh
It's
no!
absolute tragedy for Henry in these last 3 hands.
From Kokushi Tenpai to fourth place just in a few hands. That's so rough.
That
The big
is
winner here, though, is Andrew with 45.9. Also keeps everyone under 30K. In second place, Dave with minus 4.8. In third, Amari managing to come back with that Mungon on last hand at minus 13.3. And Henry so close and ultimately just doesn't get it and ends up minus 27.8.
I'm definitely on my own time gonna go back and check where the West was.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, we could probably put it on stream.
Yeah, Nathaniel, do you want to check the log on this one? Just go see, just for the fun of it. My bet's on it. My bet's on it being the Rinchan tile.
Oh, that'd be so cursed.
It'd be very funny though. Yeah, but just absolutely tragic and really a result that Henry could not afford to take. Luckily, he doesn't like everyone was below 30K, so he just like not the worst fourth in the world, but like he was right around that cut line right now. The known hiatuses.
Do you remember what hand it was?
It was this one.
홈,
Okay.
치,
Oh, it was not okay.
Yeet.
It was in the wall.
홈,
Yeah, it was
Sweet.
live, but it's the
Sweet.
very end of the
Oh
wall.
my gosh, it was wait. Hold up. It was gonna get drawn
Would have been drawn
by
across the
it would have been
way.
drawn. We could have seen the shot.
Wow.
Shotgun Kokushi on stream.
Well,
No.
let's see. No, we wouldn't have because the 8 would have come out first.
Oh yeah. Well, maybe they switch. They never switch,
Oh,
but maybe
no, they
they
never switched
switch.
there.
Yeah. I want to believe you,
Dream
right?
is dead. Well, on that depressing note, I think we're gonna wrap it up about now.
Yeah, that is about all the talking I can take for a day.
It is soul crushing end there. But regardless, had a whole bunch of games together, whole bunch of really close first place. We had that big
Yeah,
win at the end, but
this
so many of
last
those
one was the
plus
only big
18,
one we
plus
saw. Yeah.
19 wins. A lot of action across a lot of leagues. Stay tuned. We're getting right in the midst of session 5. If you're looking for possible games to watch soon, the two commentators are going to be fighting out tomorrow. Whether it gets on stream or not, who knows? But we're all in very desperate straits to avoid fourth, along with Simon in that game tomorrow.
Yeah. Do you just want to cast it while we play it?
I
Oh
think I had
yes.
to focus a little too more.
Here I'm Tempai a little bit. Here I'm Tempai, so I declare Ricci waiting on 2-5 pin. Korak, how do you feel about
I don't believe him. 2-pin.
that?
I
It's
would
the
absolutely do that too.
devil mind game. I actually told the truth.
All right. Well, a bunch of exciting Mahjong. We didn't get to see the Yakuman. We didn't get to see the Chunkan Yakuman,
Yeah, I
but a
do
bunch of exciting
appreciate
play here.
I
Yeah, we
appreciate
appreciate
the
going
going
for
for
it.
it, but unfortunately, the results be what it be.
All right. So with that, this is when we plug everything, the Twitter. Follow us here on Twitch. Check out the YouTube, tinyurl.com/ARMLYT.
Yep.
RMLYT. It's an awkward one to get out, but it is correct. And of course, if you're looking to sign up for next season, that is on AmericanReachy.org.
Yep.
So this
You've
is
got
Korak along
two
with
and a half
Matt.
weeks left to sign off for that. And the registration is closing for the next season on December 19th. So if you are interested, get your signups in now. It is on the website. Yeah, as Korak says, this has been Korak and Max, otherwise known as LPY. Have a good night, everyone. We appreciate you watching.
Take care.